The quality of your life is directly related to the quality of the questions that you ask. So you have to be, so it's like as soon as you start asking yourself different questions, you start getting different answers, and that's when your brain starts rolling.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 10 of the Andrew Deitch podcast. We made it to double digits, people. We did it. I honestly can't wait until we hit the triples. It seems like just last week I uploaded episode 1. Oh wait, I did. All of your support has been overwhelmingly awesome, and if my voice is hitting your eardrums right now, I can't thank you enough for giving my podcast a shot. It's actually somewhat kind of crazy to even think about. Y'all are in for a treat today because my guest is my friend Owen Lutz. Owen is one of the happiest and funniest guys I know, and over the past few years, I have seen him develop into an extremely successful entrepreneur, digital marketer, motivational speaker, and soon-to-be author of his first workbook. He's extremely inspiring and talented, and you can just hear in his voice how passionate he is about what he believes in. During our conversation, Owen shared his story of how he went from a high school dropout to selling his first company. We talked about meditation and his morning routine, his favorite books, digital marketing, and at the end, we got into the lizard people that are controlling the world. Ooh. It was one of the most fun podcasts I've had so far, and I can't wait to have Owen on again. The music you're about to hear was totally unplanned, but before we started recording, Owen just kind of grabbed his guitar and started playing, so I decided to give you a little taste of that. All right, let's get the show on the road. Owen Lutz, everybody. Woo! Dude, I'm going to use that as my intro music.
Go for it, dude.
All right, Owen. You ready for this?
Down.
We're live, bro.
Oh, no way.
We are live here.
Love it.
In the Owen Lutz studio.
Oh, yeah. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Sweet. So, I was just explaining, before we started that just started doing this podcast. Got a few episodes in the tank.
Sweet.
This is episode, I think, 11 or so. Something like that.
Awesome.
So, yeah, man. So, Owen.
let me
I just wanted to be awkward.
No, that's great. I'm all about it.
No, so you've actually been on a few podcasts before, right?
Yeah, just a couple. I've been on.
Well, we started a podcast.
Yeah,
back
we
in the
did.
day.
We did. That was the first time I ever recorded myself having an awkward conversation.
Yeah, no,
and
seriously.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But then after that, I had one with Graham.
I'm going to bleep his last name.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Graham Thomas.
Yeah, Graham Thomas. Interestingly enough, that's also my brother's name.
Really?
Yeah, Graham
Thomas. Oh, yeah,
Thomas.
I remember you guys talked about that on the podcast with Graham Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
I listened to that podcast.
Yeah, with that guy. He's great.
With the Logical Insanity podcast. Graham was actually the last guest that I had. Like, I recorded it yesterday.
Oh, no way. Yeah, he's like a great guy, man.
Definitely.
I love that dude.
Definitely. Well, Owen, so you were asking me, like, are there any kind of, like, common questions that you ask or whatever? And basically the first question that I always ask is, how did, just in a nutshell, kind of walk me through some milestones. Give us, like, a brief introduction of your life. How did you go from baby Owen to adult 23, almost 23? Tomorrow you're 23.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Owen's birthday. My birthday is the day after.
Oh, yeah. Small world.
So how did you go from baby Owen to almost 23-year-old Owen?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's gonna be fun.
Where were you born?
Born and raised in Norcross, Georgia, but But let me back up even further. I'm the youngest of 7 children. My whole family was born up in Maryland, except for my brother Reese and I. Interestingly enough, his name is Reese Owen, mine being Owen James.
That'd be funny if it was Owen Reese.
Yeah, right? And we would just be the same. And then we had good friends of ours growing up that were also named Reese and Owen, which is funny. Reese Van Beber. His little brother, Owen Van Beber. Well, Reese Bleep and...
And I don't care about bleeping the last names, really. It was mainly because Graham doesn't want his name out there.
Which is cool.
I respect that because the way that he kind of explained it was being anonymous helps him be more truthful and honest.
That's cool.
Which makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that. My mentality of it right now is I'm trying to kind of turn a new leaf of just being transparent in general.
Yeah, I'm all
so
about
if I'm going to fucking swear...
I might fucking
then I'm
swear.
gonna fucking swear on this podcast. So that's kind of how I feel. Because remember when we first started the podcast, I was like, I'm not gonna swear. I don't want my mommy to hear it.
I want to be a professional.
But you can be a professional and you can swear too. Because pretending that no one swears is ridiculous.
Yeah, there's evidence of like that being ridiculous all over the place.
Yeah. But anyway, so you're the youngest of 7.
Yep, born and raised in Norcross, Georgia. Let's see, I went to a little elementary school with my friends. We did hood rat things, like throwing paper inside of the classroom, until, we slowly progressed into TPing people's houses and then throwing raging parties when parents weren't home to, I remember going to a lake house party where we were like tossing furniture off of like his roof into the lake just because we were smashed. And it was like, it progressed, just like everything else in life. My life progressed from being, a slightly obnoxious kid to a particularly obnoxious high schooler to a, slightly obnoxious adult. And then now to a more reserved, but...
Still crazy.
But less obnoxious.
More well-adjusted, I would say.
Yeah. And,
And married.
And married, yeah. So now I actually dropped out of high school when I was 16.
And that was a private school, right?
I was going to a private Christian school. I loved everybody there, and I thought that everybody there had great intentions. It's just unfortunate that, the belief system there and the belief system of like, not just private Christian schools, but private schools and public schools and schools run by our loving state. All of those are... the belief system that like you can like have a cookie cutter type of relationship with, not just humans, but that someone's going to try and tell me that there is a cookie cutter relationship with God. It's like, okay, first of all, we have absolutely no idea. And if we did, there's like absolutely no quantifying what that thing might be. Don't try and tell me that humans in the past wrote it down into a book. I don't know if that's accurate. What exactly. I do know is that this thing that we're on, spinning through space, is mind-boggling. I was hanging out in Buckhead just last night.
Me too.
No, not last. Was it last night? No.
I was there for just a little bit.
Yeah, it was not last night. I was there on Wednesday night.
Nice.
No, I guess. Yeah, Wednesday night. But it was so much fun, man. Hanging out with my brothers, and we just... hung out and looked at because he's so
looked at the stars.
Yeah, he's looking at there was beautiful clouds out, and like we could see all the city, and I just can't even explain. This big thing that we're spinning on is so mind-boggling, bro. That I just think that if there was something that was like, designing this, which I mean, the only thing to design is the zeros and ones that makes up everything, because like all of this kind of happens as it progresses, because this natural progression of things, similarly to my life and everybody else's lives, because it's all basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
When it comes down to like the consciousness of everything, we're all the same. So this progression of life is just a series of yes or no's. It's only decisions, choice after choice, and it's everything out there. Like even like the photosynthesis of plants. Is the sun out? No, don't do the next step of photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Is the sun out?
It's
yes.
all choices.
Do I do the next step of photosynthesis? Yes. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just yes, no, 0, 1. It's how computers work. It's how the ancient Egyptians did math. It's how the ancient Chinese did math.
Yes, but then you've got weird things like consciousness that's like unexplainable. you know.
Well,
but I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
And no's, you know what I mean?
It is true. But dude, I would love to explore that topic a lot more.
Oh,
but
of
let's
course.
finish
Oh,
your
of course.
upbringing real quick.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah.
So people can kind of know who he is.
Yeah, of course. My childhood was like, I don't have any children. I am married at 22, about to be 23, but I do not have any children. I've got 6 nephews. 3 of my siblings are married. 2 of them are currently engaged. And my whole family, we all live right in the Atlanta area. We get together once a month. And I just get to help little kids through their issues and talk to my siblings about life and try and understand this, this whole process that we're going through. But it's been a, series of, mistakes and lessons learned.
Definitely. Dude, one interesting thing that I wanted to bring up before I forget about it is, I've asked this on a couple podcasts. What was your first impression of me? And I'll say my first impression of you.
Yeah.
Or what you can remember of first impression of me, or when you got to know me, or whatever.
Yeah,
I'll give mine first, actually, so you can kind of think about it. But and so you can think about how awesome this response is about to be. No, I'm just kidding.
No, go for it.
I'm totally kidding. But my first impression.
And when was it?
I think you were in my church class when I was younger at Perimeter, like in Sunday school kind of thing. Or something like that.
Oh, yeah. With
way
Ivy, right?
back in the day. Yeah, with Ivy.
Yeah.
And I just remember that you were just crazy.
Oh,
and you would, like, basically always making everybody laugh. And you would kind of just do anything. You were just crazy. And I was just like, this guy's insane. Like, that was my first. And then really just my impression of you, like you were saying in high school and all that, was like, Owen's a crazy dude. Like, we were always getting into some hooligan stuff whenever I was with you.
Going to the forum and yelling at people.
Yelling at people. Yeah. But yeah, so what was your first impression of me, if you have one, if you can think of it?
Yeah, it was just very similar. we just had our own little crew that all of us
We just did crazy stuff and fun stuff.
We were just kind of obnoxious kids running around and like.
I was a pretty annoying kid.
So I feel like until high school, I didn't really have first impressions of people. So So what I'm thinking is that, I can't, like, when I try and think of like the first time I met like you and Ivy and all those other guys that we used to run around with, I feel like I was too young and I was too just manic and just like wild to.
You weren't processing that.
Yeah, I wasn't processing.
This was just a person that happened to be.
Another human thing that's running around with all this other stuff that's all over the place.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
And so then I would probably revert back to like the first time that like I thought about you as a person and not just like another thing running around was in high school. I feel like I was in the. It was like 9th grade or something. You're younger, maybe? Yeah, probably 9th grade. If it was like, I think it was in the Norcross parking lot was the first time that like I singled you out as like a dude that like I was like really tight with. Like I like this guy a lot. And I remember I don't know what I was doing in that parking lot because the school I went to didn't get out till 4. So this might have been after I dropped out of high school was the first time I really singled you out as like somebody I wanted to spend time with. And I was in the parking lot, and you pulled up in your car, and I was just, and I think I just like was waiting for people to, or no, you were walking out of the school towards your car, and I was sitting on, I think, Graham Scotty's? I don't know. I was sitting out in this parking lot, you came walking up, and I was just like, yeah, Andrew, I'm gonna go hang out with him. And then we just like hung out in this parking lot until eventually you were like, all right, let's go. But I was like, cool, man, talk to you later.
We used to do that so much, like just hang out in the parking lot after school. At our cars.
Yep.
That was like the hangout spot. And the principals and stuff would always come out and try to get us to leave.
Yeah.
And it was funny because you didn't even go to school there.
Yeah. I remember one time, I dropped out of my high school, and I got my GED pretty much right away, like within 3 months, because that was like my dad and I, that was our agreement. Like,
yeah.
I was like, Dad, this is some bullshit. Do not make me go sit in this room with these people.
And your dad is like a really cool guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, imagine by the time you have 6 kids, when the 7th comes around, you know what's going on.
Exactly.
He never forced me into anything. And like every time like I did something wrong, like all he did was like listen to my side of the story and then wait until I asked for help or advice and then presented the ultimate solution.
That's
and I was
awesome.
like,
that's great dadding.
But there was definitely times when I was like misreading him helping to the point where it would get frustrating that he was trying to present solutions and I was not accepting them, to the point where I would like, I don't know, right before he let me drop out of high school, I think I like really didn't like him just because I was like, dude, you're so
old and stupid.
Ignorant. You're so ignorant, Dad. You don't even know what's going on. It's like, yeah, he does. He really does. Like way more than I did then.
Yeah.
Which is just cracks me up, dude, because he like said it like all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay. I remember like apologizing to him, being like, yeah, sorry about all that shit, but thanks for being so awesome now.
Yeah,
like, I appreciate
that's cool.
that you were so cool about it.
That's really cool.
Definitely
Question:
respect that dude a
has
lot.
your dad always had such an epic mustache?
Yes.
Ever since you've known him?
Yeah. Ever since, I mean, and the only thing that was different back in the day was, he's gone like gray goatee. So now he's got a full like 6-inch gray goatee going on.
Oh wow, I didn't know, like Colonel Sanders kind of deal.
Yeah, but he's like, just like a thin old dude. He runs a bunch and he does CrossFit, but he used to have a ponytail when I was growing up. So it was big, long, probably 13, 14-inch ponytail and a monster handlebar mustache.
You got to be pretty unique to have like some long hair when you're an old dude.
Yeah, no, he was just a, hippie who like got into business and just kept on and like learned about love and empathic listening and synergy and
That's
all
awesome.
the things that make for good interpersonal skills, and then took that to the bank.
That's awesome. So we kind of talked about how like crazy you were, and you were just like this wacky, crazy guy.
Dude, yeah.
And when did you make that shift into the mindset that you're in now? Obviously, it's progressed, but when was that point where you kind of were just like, I need to get serious about business, or I need to become an entrepreneur, or whatever it was that led you to down this path that you're on now?
Yeah, so let me catch up the crew then, because we got to me like being 22 and married, right?
Yes. And you married your wife Amy, who you knew and dated like all throughout high school, right?
Yeah, totally.
That's crazy. How long did you date before you got married?
Our first date was like in 6th grade.
Wow.
Our parents like drop us off at the movies.
Were you like, I'm gonna marry this chick immediately?
Totally. If you go back and listen to Graham's podcast, he actually told me a story of me like
telling him that
when we were 12.
I feel like I remember that when I listened to the podcast. Yeah. Now I remember.
I told Graham that I told everybody.
Yeah.
And that's just like another thing that, and I'll get like into this in a minute, because this is like the secret to everything. And I'm very excited to share this with people who might think that my mindset, the things that I talk about and like the way I live my life, if they think it's interesting and want to follow it, then I have a simple secret to like what I'm thinking all the time that allows me to make it happen. But I'll get there.
There we go.
I'll get there.
Nuggets.
Oh yeah. So where was I though? Right before
we were saying you dropped out, and then you dated Amy all throughout.
Dated Amy throughout high school, and then we broke up once because I was real dumb. I was like, I don't know. Like, I was getting frustrated because I was asking myself a bunch of questions that like I really didn't know the answer to about like what I wanted out of life and like all this stuff. And like once I started asking myself these questions, and like all I wanted to do was like get like really stoned and really drunk and like look at butts. I just wanted to look at girls' butts. You know what I mean? That's like it.
That was 100% of your worries.
Yeah, that was like
and stoned, check. Drunk, check. Looking at butts, check.
But
I'm good.
I still had, that's the thing, is that I wasn't good with that. That was all that I was doing, and it was like, all that in the foreseeable future is all I really wanted to do. But I knew that like I had to do more than
look at butts,
and
be fucked up all the time.
Butts.
That's hilarious. Yeah, girls' butts in particular, not dudes' butts or animal butts.
Well, I mean, it depends on if Ivy Hatcher is walking by, that dude surprisingly has a very adorable
fantastic
butt.
derriere.
It's amazing. And I mean,
I'd stare at that butt.
Yeah, I'm not like gonna get after that butt at all. But I will appreciate that butt. I appreciate that butt.
I hope Ivy appreciates that comment.
He will.
I think he will. One day.
Anywho, we broke up for a little while, and at that point, then I moved out in my own apartment. When I was 19, I got a little studio apartment.
I remember that spot.
It was pretty cool. Had a couple parties there and stuff, but then I was just lonely and frustrated because I had no idea how to manage myself as an adult. I was like working really hard. I was caddying all day, and I was working at a golf course restaurant all night. And
that is one thing I remembered about you is you were always working so much.
Oh,
making
yeah.
money.
Man, it's just because it was like...
When you're living by yourself too, you got to hustle. You got to make money.
I knew I had to, make money so I could pay for things, and I also enjoyed working because of how easy it is to be better than other people.
That's very true.
And that's just a simple I understand being raised differently and not having the same values, but it's just because you were not taught them doesn't mean that they don't exist and cannot influence your life. So you can still change your mindset and your perception to grab on to the things that will propel you forward. And those things are integrity, responsibility, reliability, honesty, being helpful, just seeking first to understand and then to be understood. Trying to help other people first. Having conversations based on someone else's story just because you know that if you ask them about their story, they'll keep opening up more of their story. These so many little secrets out there about how to live life more effectively. And I was lucky enough to have my dad teach me a lot of that stuff. That's how I was raised, and that was only because I had all of those other siblings. When I was tripping mushrooms with my brother just 2 nights ago. Oh, by the way, I was tripping mushrooms up there in Buckhead. It was looking over the city. It was just unbelievable. But talking to my brother Mason, he's 41.
Your brother's 41?
Yeah,
is that your oldest brother?
Yeah, and he's 18 years older than me.
That's crazy to think about.
He and my dad had no idea how to raise Mason. He was, just really frustrated and would just yell at him because he could not get this boy to understand, even though my father knew everything. Just like me and you and me, we know everything. You know what I mean? But we don't. Now my dad knows everything because he's, 65 years old and... but in 15 years, he's also going to recognize that now he doesn't know anything. You know
exactly.
That's how it goes.
How old was your dad when your oldest brother was born?
20.
Wow.
Or 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How old is your mom? Younger?
No, maybe my dad was 23 and my mom was 21.
Something like that? But they were young.
Young. No older, definitely no older than 23.
Wow. That's crazy. So, like you said, they kind of went from, super young parents just didn't know how to parent and didn't know how to do anything. And then by the time you came around, they were like
masters.
Pros.
They were pros. Just
That's
because
awesome.
they understood there's no sense in yelling at a child. I didn't know. I wasn't even interested in knowing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do other things. I just wanted to continue to experience. Only thing I was addicted to was experiencing things. It didn't matter what I was touching, what I was looking at, what I was hearing, what it was. Just that something was entering my neurons.
Yeah.
You know
definitely.
what I mean? So that's all that matters, is that you give kids the freedom to experience it all, answer all of their stupid questions, and teach them how to go experience without being annoying little shit faces that then scream and cry. Because it's possible. I screamed and cried, obviously. But that was because I witnessed my siblings scream and cry. But if my parents had raised me the way they did without my other siblings involved, I think that I would not have screamed and cried. Because I was so content all the time.
That makes sense.
But then again, it would have been impossible to have raised me without my siblings.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they did so much of the work, too.
Exactly. Which is crazy.
Anyway,
you can't.
I still haven't finished my story.
Yes.
Where
I was going to ask you a quick question.
Okay, of course.
So in school, you hated school. That was why you dropped out, right? You couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
And you just that learning environment is just terrible for you.
Yeah.
And same for me. But I had a question. Were you diagnosed with ADD or ADHD?
Never
or anything?
diagnosed with anything. All my teachers would hit my mom up, be like, "Hey, you need to get this boy tested," and my mom would look at me and be like, "You're fine. We're not testing shit."
Dude, I love your mom. That is so cool.
Totally. She was like, just because I was, man. My mom knew full well that the only reason I wasn't getting all A's was because I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was getting B's and
You're a
C's
smart
because
dude.
I would like pay attention a little bit when I was bored, and then I would go home and I would fly through the homework just so I can go play. But my mom would make me get the homework done, and so she knew that like.
Yeah,
wasn't
she
stupid
knew. She was
because
a good mom. Like, she saw more potential in you. She didn't care about the grades.
She didn't care about the grades. She was just like, he's killing it. Don't worry about it.
He's a kid.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Chill out.
He doesn't need to take a bunch of medicine. Dude, that's so cool, because I feel like had your mom not been so cool, you could be a totally different person and affected by those types of drugs and stuff.
Oh, dude, it's fucked up. I got friends, friends of ours, too. I'm not sure who, but,
Definitely, and you don't really know how much
actually, I do know who, but I'm not gonna say.
Yeah,
who,
don't
but
mention it.
I do have friends who, started taking those drugs in like Vyvanse and Adderall and stuff like that in high school, and they went from being like fun and cool to hang out with to being like, just either drone-ish until the point where they kind of busted out with some anger or something frustrating because they weren't doing what they wanted to do. And then now they're just like partying their ass off still, like 23, 24, not even beginning to ask themselves, and if they are, they're not like getting any answers, but they're not even beginning to ask themselves the questions that humans need to ask in order to start moving forward. Because it's true, the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of the questions that you ask. So you have to be, so it's like as soon as you start asking yourself different questions, you start getting different answers, and that's when your brain starts rolling.
Wow, that was deep, dude. That's really good. I love that. I was just talking to my friend's mom the other day.
That's
we were
Tony
talking
Robbins,
about,
by the way.
That was Tony Robbins. Nice, but
just the quality of your life is the quality of the question.
Dude, but like the funny thing is I sometimes feel guilty like quoting stuff, and then I'm like, I stole that from somebody. But on the other hand, it's like you learn stuff and then repeat it, like doctors. Like, oh, they're so smart. They say these things, but they're just repeating stuff that they've memorized too.
Yeah.
It's like, or whatever. Like Tony Robbins might have ripped that off from someone else that he heard it from.
No, that's exactly
like,
how it is.
Whatever. But it was interesting because I was talking to my friend's mom and we were talking about.
But I do want people to, that if you enjoyed that, go look up Tony Robbins because the dude's fantastic.
Yeah, Tony Robbins is great. I was talking to my friend's mom, and we were talking about how her son is, just dealing with some stuff. And I was talking to her about that. Like, he needs to really think about, like, okay, if I'm feeling like depressed or whatever, should I go drink and smoke? Obviously, that's going to be a temporary fix. Yep. But the questions you have to ask are, okay, once I do this, am I going to be happy at the end? No? Yeah. Okay, cool. I got to figure out something else.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Oh, I could possibly, if I'm caught drinking and driving or something, I could possibly be arrested. Like you kind of walk yourself down the path and asking what's going to happen with this. Is it good or bad? Is it going to affect me in a positive or negative way? And I love that. Like, ask yourself really quality questions. That's great.
Yeah, totally. And so another like going deeper into that a little bit is that the questions that most people are asking themselves when it's time for a switch are thinking things like, why is this always happening to me? Why do I keep doing this wrong? Why do people respond this way to me? Like, why can't I do anything right? And it's like, what is the answer to that question? It is a negative thing that's happening, right? So that's like not good because you're just continuing to think negatively. And the law of attraction, which like is really misunderstood. A lot of people think that the law of attraction is like that you think really, really hard and you can have exactly what you want. It's like, no.
I really want this Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's going to be there.
Yeah,
it's going to be there.
But no, it's
I didn't believe hard enough, bro.
Yeah.
It didn't happen because I didn't believe hard enough.
Yeah, no, that's not accurate. What is accurate is the things that you hold in your mind. Like, what you're thinking about is what you recognize in the world. It's like your perception is your reality. And, it's the deepest... That's the deepest way that you can really try to explain to somebody. It's like your paradigms, like the lens through which you're viewing things is like the only thing that's like it's the most important thing that even exists. Like you can't, just because like we're taught that like other people are important too. It's like, no, it's like just you. It's like but also like just them.
Yeah, it's weird how everyone experiences life through their own brain and their own lens and their own filters through which all their past decisions and things that have happened to them, life experiences, whatever, affect that filter. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really
wild.
wild.
You can change your filter.
You can change your filter.
But anyway, so to kind of just finish your... To go back,
sorry.
like, when did you have that kind of switch? You know, like, when did you...
Yeah. So I was working.
You're working super hard. You're in that studio apartment.
Right. So after that, I got back together with Amy. And then, things started to change because I was looking forward to things again. I was excited to, be alive and not just in front of my TV watching another Netflix show in between hours of 12 and 8 a.m. before I have to go back to work the next day and shit like that. And, it was awful living there. I was just sad and lonely and broke and sweaty, and my clothes were all dirty, and I didn't have any clean dishes, and I didn't have any food.
Dang.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was awful, man.
Sounds shitty.
And then I got back together.
Did you have a laundry thing? Like, could you wash your clothes, or did you have to go somewhere to wash them?
I had to go somewhere to wash them.
Oh, that's another reason why they were probably all dirty.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it in your house.
Not to mention, I was, too stoned to think about trying to figure out how to be productive when I was stoned. And so then I got back together with Amy. And once, that happened, things started moving forward again. I started being more optimistic, started asking myself, instead of questions like, why did I not do my laundry this week? Why do I not do my dishes? Why don't I get up from this couch and go do that thing? Why am I not doing it? Instead of asking myself those questions, which I was asking myself all the time, I began to ask my questions like, ooh, how could Amy and I, get our own house one day? How could Amy and I do this? How could we do this? Ooh, what if we did this in order to do that? How and what if? Like, how could we achieve this thing? And what if we did this in order to achieve that thing? Those two questions will pull you out of whatever rut you're stuck in. Think
That's
of
awesome.
what is the type of thing that you want. How could you possibly get it? What if you did something to get it?
Yeah, make a game plan and just start with step one.
Right?
It makes so
thanks
much
for opening
sense.
that up. So then here's what happened is I started making game plans. I started thinking, what is it? How am I going to move forward? And once I started doing that, I started seeing new opportunities. I started reading into how I was going to start my first business because my dad was an entrepreneur. I saw him grow businesses. My two oldest brothers. I had a brother that owned a CrossFit gym. It's in my blood. I knew I was not going to be told what to do. I dropped out of high school because I was tired of being told what to do. So then I started researching inflatables. I was about to get with my buddy Mitch Hoover and try and hit him up to try and start an inflatable company where we rent out a couple inflatables.
The bounce house things?
Yeah, and it would have only taken us, 6 weekends to pay off the first one, and then we would have been able to invest in the next one, and stuff like that. So I was getting really excited about it, but I then recognized that I didn't have any money to get started or anything like that, and no one was going to give it to me because I was 20 years old with no idea what I was going to do. So I got a job working as a warehouse clerk. This is a pretty cool little story. Working as just a shipping and receiving clerk for an energy conservation company, and they hired 3 of us and said, at the end of the first month, we're going to promote one of you to the warehouse manager. And I was like, ooh, it's my opportunity. So I was like, Dad, what do I need to do to be the most impressive person in that warehouse? And he gave me a book called The 2-Second Lean. This is something, it's 100 pages. You could probably get a PDF online super easily. But the 2-Second Lean is a simple mindset shift that will allow you to be blown away with how awesome your life is in 10 years. This is one of the little shifts that if you follow it, you will have a better life in 10 years, an exponentially better life, because you take you spend up to an hour figuring out how you can save 2 seconds. If there is anything that is slowing you down, think about it. Give it a second. What could I do to improve that right now? That would then improve it forever. So all the other guys I worked with would just leave all the tools everywhere. They would, the tape gun was in one corner and then it got stuck under a box that we didn't have any scissors. And I was like, guys, this is now the tool drawer. After you're done with the tool, you put it right back. And they were like, okay. And they started doing it. And I was like, this is easy. People are stupid and they do what they're told. Sorry.
It's true.
Coworkers. But it's true. People are stupid and they do what they're told.
But it was a good idea, too. It made sense.
Of course.
They're like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That makes sense.
It makes
let's do it.
If it makes sense, people will do what they're told. Unfortunately, the people that now run the world, like the bankers that own the national bank in like every country right now. Rothschilds, even though like I know he died or someone died. Either way, they didn't actually die. They just like pretended they died so that they can still rule the world from their lizard throne. But that's
but anyways,
that's real deep.
If you super deep.
All of you listeners out there, when you hear the phrase lizard throne, I want you to come back and listen to this podcast again, because you'll freak out about all the stuff that I'm saying also aligns with the lizard people that rule everything. But that's a whole nother thing.
That is a totally different subject, but we can get into that.
You want to get into the lizard people?
If we get into let's get into it later.
Okay.
But I like the lizard people topic.
Lizard people topic. It's creepy. I love conspiracy theories and all
that
stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Just because it's obvious that like Agenda 21 is the idea that like they're going to indoctrinate children to be like raised by the state, so that the state will then have control over like who does what and how well, right? And unfortunately now our children spend upwards of 40 hours a week in state-run facilities.
Yep.
Awkward. We're all being controlled. Fucking brainwashed retards.
That's amazing. And for anyone out there who's offended by the word retard,
oh yeah,
I don't even care.
That's not. I mean, I do care a little bit. Like I mean, obviously.
Here's the thing about the word retard. Here's the funny thing.
Like that,
Here's the funny thing about the word retard. The word retard means slow. It doesn't mean that you have a mental disorder. Yeah. If you have mental retardation, that means you are literally slow. I'm not saying that's like a guy with Down syndrome. No, that's fucked up. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's retarded, meaning like that's really slow. That's really like, come on, dude, you're being dumb. Yeah. So we can get off of that word, but I just wanted to put that out there for people like, retard. Yeah. I'm not offended by it, and you shouldn't be either. And if you give words too much power like that, it's like the N-word. It's too powerful. We need to start saying it. Not white people, but I'm saying the word retard. If we say the word retard, it'll take the power away. If you prevent people from saying the word retard, it's just giving the word more power.
It's true.
It's like when Donald Trump, all of a sudden now the word pussy doesn't mean anything. You can say pussy as much as you want because it was all over the news for a whole month. And so now it's acceptable at the dinner table to say, grab him by the pussy because Donald Trump said it. Like you could say it and no one would be like, that's vulgar. But like a year ago, if you said the word pussy in front of your mom, she'd freak out,
Yeah.
But like if we say the word retard, it's going to lose its power, which is good because we don't want it to have that effect.
Yeah, words, you got to be careful with words.
And man. I do understand that there's some words that we should, whatever, that offend some people, whatever, but...
Well, but then again, like with that type of stuff, it's like, I'm not... Well, like, I don't really mean anything like super harsh by like the way I say stuff like that. Like I'm not... Like, I don't act like...
Think about the implications before you open your stupid mouth, Owen.
No, right? Because that's the thing. Is that, like, I'm talking about, like, people being just, like, really dumb and stupid and doing what they're told.
Exactly.
So, and I'm talking about, like, a nice broad sense of people.
Exactly.
Like, one-on-one, I love you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I love each individual. As a whole, humanity, including myself...
We're all a bunch of retards.
We're a bunch of stupid idiots. It's crazy.
Exactly.
So I was working on this, and so once I recognized that, then I started coming up with all sorts of great ideas. So I was like... When stuff came in...
So that's where the 2-second lean is. It's taking an hour to figure out how you can save 2 seconds?
Yeah, it's just improve. That's all it is, right? So this guy, he started a company called Fast Caps or something like that. And they just made like one product. It was just a tiny little thing that you snapped on to the screw holes in the side of your cabinets. Tiny little covering so that you didn't have a hole where the screw was. You know what I mean?
Huh.
It's called Fast
Caps or something like that?
Something like that. So they did the 2-second lean. They just like continuously improved their system until they were pumping out, 2 people were pumping out thousands of these things like in like a minute. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Just with like in a garage somewhere. Just like they just 2-second leaned it to be crazy productive with like virtually no effort.
Why is it called the 2-second lean? Am I missing something with the lean? What's the lean?
Lean manufacturing.
Like slimming it down.
Slimming it down, right? Well,
see, I was thinking like leaning, like resting
lean,
on something.
like lean and tight. But that's from Toyota is the company who first created this lean manufacturing system, which is the idea that every single employee has the ability to stop the line. They call the management down, they talk about some solution, they come across it. Will this improve things? Will it not? If it does, they implement it throughout the entire line. And then they start it again with that 2-second improvement. That means that there's 100 people improving things by 2 seconds, which means that's 200 fucking seconds. Boom.
Wow. That's interesting. So every employee has the opportunity to be like, hold up. Hey, guys.
Wait, let's talk about
everybody. Everybody in the whole place. Hold up for 2 seconds.
Me.
Let's.
Me. Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And so they implemented this in his own business with that fast cap thing, and they ended up doing like, oh man, just get the book. It's so good.
I'll need to read
2-second lean. I let one of my coworkers at that place read it because I was like, dude, I'm quitting because I'm starting my own business, so I need you to like not be a terrible employee. I need you to learn things. So I gave this to him.
So you left that company to start your own business. What was that?
So it was a app for restaurants.
Yes.
Right? That one, and what
was it called again?
So I was like, that was called Server Station. So servers in restaurants, like managing our own list of customers so that we can like basically a new business model for servers to make more money.
Exactly.
Like,
I remember we had some meetings about it. It was interesting.
Yeah. So I went and got like 450 interviews done from restaurant employees, managers, owners, and servers.
Wow, that many?
Yeah, totally. I went
one-on-one interviews, 450?
Yeah, totally. Because I went and I did 20 a day for
wow.
3 times a week for a couple months.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got so
many.
That's
the hustle right there.
Yeah, and I learned so much, dude. I only did that because I was in a accelerator program with Atlanta Tech Village called ATDC.
I remember you were telling me about that.
Atlanta Technology Development Center. So I went down there and they were just telling me all about like how to do market research, and that was so huge for me because I recognized it's like I do have like a really good little idea here, but I'm not prepared to like learn how to like bootstrap this thing right now. I didn't have enough money, I didn't have enough of my own skills, so then I was like, well, let me start with something simpler, make myself a little more money, learn a little bit more, and I will, again, progress. So I ended up dropping that one after I did a whole bunch of interviews, but I know a ridiculous amount about market research and idea validation. Like, hit me up. Like, I'll talk to you about that all day. I love that stuff. So then I made a design for a koozie shirt. We talked about that.
We were working on that. Like, we were at my house.
The actual prototype where I made the real one?
No, I remember we were at my house, like cutting up koozies and stuff.
I'll pull it up. I'll show it to you, like after we chat. But I've got a video on my phone of like the. I might even have it in my closet.
Nice. So it was the idea was that you had a koozie built into your shirt. That was the pocket.
Yeah. So this one was removable.
So was it Velcro?
Velcro. Pull it off, but I couldn't find a strong enough like way to get it all attached to the shirt. I should have I guess I could have sewn it on, but then you got like a stupid looking Velcro square. So I tried a couple things, but that ended up not really working. But again, just a bunch of ideas popping around. I learned that it would take me $2,500, and that's like it to get it professionally designed and patented. Well, no, patented was another $2,000, so it was going to be like a $5,000 investment to like just get the product, and then I was going to have to sell a few of them and like just get the product like designed and owned, and then I would have to invest in getting some and selling some.
So why'd you ditch the product? Why'd you ditch it? Just because it was going to cost too much?
Yeah, I just didn't have $5,000 at the time, and I asked my dad, and he was like, no, I'm not going to give you any money. And I was like, yeah, cool, I'll move on. I'm not super worried about it.
I like that, and that's very important for people to think about. Is like, just because, like you said, you did 450 interviews, but you're not saying like I wasted all that time. You're saying I learned so much.
So much.
Even though the app never even took off.
Yeah.
You never even made the app, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, I made a prototype. You
made a prototype of it.
So the prototype, had clickable buttons, and you could see everything that it was going to do. It was going to track different customers, what they ordered the last time. How much they tip each time, so like what kind of desserts you can like. There's a way to send them emails and text messages, so you can send a little coupon that's like, hey, if you come between the hours of 5 and 7, I'll give you a little early bird dessert. Like, come on down and hang out with me because it's going to be slow today.
That's really, it was a cool concept. I liked it a lot.
And I still think that it's something that like I want to get into stuff like that. And I've actually got a cool opportunity to work with a really awesome app developer coming up, but that's on the hush hush.
So basically it's like you didn't, and then when you said you had this koozie idea, you put all this work into it, figured out how much it was going to cost, and when it came down to it, just couldn't execute, but you just moved on. You weren't like, oh, well, this sucks. Guess I got to go back to the warehouse.
Yeah, right. So I got a job at a restaurant because I knew that was easy money, and serving in restaurants to me is, second nature. I'm just going to people and be like, hi, I'm your dude. What you need? And then they tell me. And you know what I do then, Andrew?
What do you do?
I go and I get it and I bring it to them. It's the easiest thing in the world. And people just, for some reason, just love me because I'm just like, hi, what do you need? I'm here to help. And they're like, cool. So then I was like, oh my gosh, if I'm good at doing that in front of random strangers at tables, I'm just going to do that with everybody I interact with over all time.
That's awesome.
It's been working out very well for me, and I'm enjoying it. But either way, I worked on that, and so I went back to a restaurant, and I was like, man, what am I going to do? I do not want to work for someone else. I understand, got to work together to do things, but I still, I wanted to be, way more in control. I wanted to build a solid foundation where I know that it doesn't matter. I can have all of my bases covered, and then I can go do whatever crazy projects I want, invest money in it, and not be worried because my foundation covers the bases, right? On
my podcast with Parker Stiles that will be released soon, we talked about that. He owns a real estate company where he buys and sells properties, and he was talking about how instead of just choosing to sell some of the properties, he's chose to rent some of them out. So all of his rentals pay for all of his monthly expenses, and then all the flipping, renovations, blah blah blah, all that stuff is just profit money. But the rentals are just mailbox money. I
gotta hit that kid.
Mailbox money that just mailbox money that just comes in and covers his bases, which is really cool.
Yeah, totally. So
you were trying to figure out how to get that going.
I was trying to figure out how to get that going. I had no idea. So my wife and I started a cleaning company. We spent $675 on all of our supplies, and then within, I think it was 14 days of the day we got the LLC, we had our first cleaning, and then within 7 days of that, we had already paid off all of the initial startup money. So we started making straight profit and only using money from the business to invest back in it, and we had a 70% profit margin. That's amazing. Just because we charged ridiculous prices because we're both very passionate. We made our own supplies. We're not we're gonna give you the best customer service you've ever experienced. So we're gonna charge you way more than other cleaning companies. And people responded oh, of course. I want all natural ingredients and people who care. Don't break my stuff. Don't steal my stuff.
Because you were using all 100% natural ingredients in the cleaning stuff.
Yeah, homemade stuff. And it was Amy's idea,
that's really cool.
Brilliant, right? So
that's genius.
Within 6 months, we were making $3,000 a month with that. So that was it's so easy. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
So for anybody out there, if you're I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't know where to start a cleaning company.
Just to learn. Just to learn. Do a bunch, do nothing like scrubbing toilets to make you realize what it is you got to do to stop scrubbing toilets.
Exactly. And everyone hates cleaning. That's the reason why people don't start cleaning companies.
Yeah. That's the reason that everybody has a house cleaner.
Yeah.
So many people invest over $1,000 a year. Well over $1,000 a year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Dude, people that I've stayed with in Europe, they had live-in nannies where part of their job was to clean the house. That was the half of their job.
Yeah, right. So it's anything like that. Cutting someone's lawn, washing their cars, walking their dog. Do something that people need, and that's it.
Help people save time too. Yeah. That's another thing. Everyone's trying to figure out how they can have more time. Cleaning takes up a lot of time. Yeah, and it's something that people hate. So start a cleaning company.
So we started a cleaning company.
And you and your wife were the only employees.
Yeah. And we
did you tell people that you were the owners when you went to the house, or did you act like you were employees?
We told people we were owners.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and I
was wondering about that.
Yeah, we hired some people for a month, and it was just really stressful trying to
manage employees
inside someone else's home. That we were just oh man, and that's when we kind of decided we're gonna do something about this. We don't want to don't want to fuss with this whole business. We're gonna try and figure out a way that we can have, you know, more interesting, less intense, but more money, and just location free, you know. So that's when my buddy Austin Distel posted a Facebook thing that said, I'm hiring a sales or a sales development person for his digital marketing agency. And I was like, yeah, I'll sell your thing all day. I don't even care. Like, give me something to sell and someone to talk to, and it's game over. So that's what we did, is we just started like calling businesses and calling people that were trying to sell stuff online and say that.
And so that was Bravado branding, right?
Bravado branding, and we provided Facebook advertising, Google AdWords, and SEO to local service businesses. So, you know, I got to get a bunch of training for like how digital marketing works, how all this stuff works, conversion rates, ROI, all of this stuff that I was like blown away. I was like, I did not know that the internet was so goddamn useful
and profitable.
Oh my goodness. It's like you can like, so here's the thing, is that you can pay, the average is 32 cents per click. You can pay 32 cents to send someone to a website, right? And you can design that website to have up to 50% of those, you can have 95% of the people that click to that website, depending on how you target them, click to that website, 95% of them will give you their email address. And then from those people that opted in and downloaded your free thing that you give them,
you got to give them some value.
You got to give them some value, of course. That's
how you're going to get their email.
And you even got to do that on the first. You got to, you know, do that on the first time you touch it too. But then you can get 50% of them to go to the next page, which is 50% of them viewing an offer that you could say, it's cool. Now that you've downloaded this, would you like to buy this? And then you can get like 9% of people, or even more than that, to go to the next page. So if you work through the numbers there, so
it's a funnel.
It's called a sales funnel, man. The sales funnel is like all of it. So if you've got, you know, 32 cents for the first thing, but you know that 50% of them are going to click, that means it's 64 cents to get people to give you their email address. 64 cents to get email addresses, but wait, what's 9% of that? So then times the...
Yeah, you just figure out all the numbers, and then you can literally break it down to a science that say, I'm paying $2 to have someone buy my $60 thing.
Return on investment.
Which is crazy to think about. It's literally a money machine.
Literally, you can make, like, using Facebook and Google, you can make money machines. And once I recognized that, I was like, cool, well, then let me give my cleaning company a boost. So I started learning all this stuff with Austin. I was on the phone trying to sell it to business owners, and I was able to say, yeah, I'm currently doing this for my cleaning company. You should... like, let me tell you what I'm doing there. And they're like, yo, that sounds awesome. Like, tell me how you are using it. Because there's really, like, you got to hold people's hands with sales. You can't just be like, you have an issue, I have a solution. No, you have to say, hey, like, I'm not sure where you're at. Tell me where you're at. That you hear that and they say, cool. So then here's how I did this thing. Here's how this other person did this thing. Here's how you could do this thing. Here, do this thing.
That's awesome. That's beautiful, really, because you can
because it's real help.
The best way you can teach people to, because sales is also about teaching. You have to be a good teacher.
Definitely.
Because if you can't teach them what you're selling, and it's, you know, if it's not super obvious right away, obviously if you're selling people toothbrushes, they know what to do with the toothbrush.
Yeah.
But if you're selling a complex sales funnel to somebody,
yeah,
you've got to explain to them, number one, you got to listen, like you said, you've got to establish where they are,
yeah,
and then you've got to figure out, well, I've got the solution. And if you've got a solution like that, anyone can use it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So are you still working for Bravado?
No. So Austin then got a job working with the guys at the Entrepreneur Alliance.
Yes.
The Entrepreneur Alliance has been like the most influential group I've been a part of.
Quick plug for Entrepreneur Alliance.
Yeah, totally. Those guys are great. And, you know, it's $30 a month.
If you're an entrepreneur, $30 a month, you have access to tons and tons of invaluable. Is invaluable the right word? Invaluable means like
not valuable, right? But
I was thinking like invaluable
like
as
infamous, like so valuable.
So valuable you couldn't put a price on it.
Yeah, so valuable.
Yeah, so it's super valuable content.
Yeah,
and trainings and all kinds of stuff. But the coolest part is that you get to join this kind of alliance, this group of entrepreneurs. Because as an entrepreneur, sometimes you're kind of flying solo, and you need to have these masterminds. Everyone that's a successful business person has masterminds.
You can ask the mastermind is an amazing thing. So you've got like all these people in this private group that you can ask stuff to that you don't have to post on like your public Facebook page to like embarrass yourself. You can be like, hey, I have a marketing question. Like I'm telling all my friends that I'm a marketer, but like you still have marketing questions. But if you ask one that someone else knows the answer to, and they give you a dumb answer on your news feed, then all of a sudden you sound like
stupid,
and it's like that's just because other people are kind of mean.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a nice.
Look at Owen. He's trying to be a businessman.
Yeah, right.
Like,
but it's cool because that's like actually like what it's like. Like I'm actually just just like every other human being on earth,
trying
we're
to
still
navigate
just babies,
this
like,
world.
Like I'm a do stuff, and it's hard.
It is hard.
It's just hard. So don't worry about it. It's hard for everybody. Help someone else, and they'll be happy to help you too.
That's beautiful.
So anyway, started working on my cleaning company. We grew that up to the point where I got to leave my restaurant job, which was very cool. And so we were making like $5,000 a month for a couple of months in a row, and we were just like rolling in dough. But my wife and I were just like cleaning all day, and we were like, well,
$5,000, like people don't realize, like, if you kind of casually put $5,000 a month out there, kind of people are just like, that's cool. But like if you actually think about $5,000, like that's solid. 60 grand a year, like that's freaking good.
No,
especially for a young couple
that started a business.
It started a business. And how long had you been running this business before it reached $5,000 a month?
It was like 14 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a little over a year. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was so much fun too, dude. But it was, and like one of the things that, I learned is that like, just keep trying things.
Yeah.
Don't like,
I love it.
But then again, it's like once you find the thing that works, don't deviate from it. So don't keep trying.
Double down on it.
Double down on it. So try things until you find the vein, then follow the vein, and if it ends, then you do the next, keep trying things. But it's very important that when you do find something that begins to work, to recognize that it works and then double down on that thing. Don't start looking for more solutions, because what happens to all these entrepreneurs is that you find some group or you find some course and you watch it, then you find one that's like someone else teaching the same topic, and then you go watch all of that one and they're teaching like different things, so you're like using two computers, like shaking all weird, like not unable to make it happen because you're trying to do two different systems. So it's very important that you have your own system in place that's like how you're gonna do it. Like, man, yeah. I got that out of the E-Myth Revisited. That book is...
I still haven't read that. I've heard it's amazing.
That's like awkward, Andrew. That's like...
I know, I feel really bad.
Model.
I feel terrible that I haven't read it. People like, just the other day, someone was like, oh yeah, when I read the E-Myth, it was the best thing ever. It changed my life. I'm like, I need to read that book. Everyone ever has told me it's awesome.
Yeah. So I've been reading.
So for people out there, you read a ton, right? You read a lot of books.
A lot of books. I've a lot of books, man.
What are the top 3 that you could recommend for somebody right now? Just some practical. .com Secrets
by Russell Brunson is all about sales funnels and marketing online. I mean, it's literally so easy to read, and it's better than a degree in digital and like in marketing. If you have a marketing degree, this book is more valuable than your degree. If you've read that book, you are if you put the information into play, if you create the system that he describes in that book, it's better than anything.
It's a money machine.
It's a money machine.
That's fantastic.
So then I would say the E-Myth Revisited.
And what is that about for people?
Yep, so the E-Myth Revisited is about a man named Michael Gerber, who's a business consultant who walks into a pie shop called All About Pies and starts to talk to a young business owner named Sarah. He asks Sarah to walk him through how she got to where she is, and then using the information of her story that he successfully got from her by taking his own story out of the equation. Humans have just generic autobiographical responses, and in order to help somebody, you need to remove your own story from the conversation, focus on theirs, and let them answer their own questions, because that's how it works. As soon as you start asking questions, you find the solution. If someone is like offering you advice and you actually get something out of it, I guarantee it's because they let you discover it for yourself. They did not tell you what the answer was. Occasionally, you hear someone say something, and you're like, oh, that person gave me that. It's like, nope, you were the one who led yourself to be able to grab onto it, because there are hundreds of times that people have said things to you that you did not grab onto, even though it was the thing you needed to hear, and it's because you need to come to the conclusion. It's all about you and the choices that you make, right? So that's
the E-Myth Revisited.
Well, almost, right? So that's like the very beginning of the E-Myth Revisited. He talks about that a little bit, but then I kind of went off on a tangent about you being you and making your own choices, because that's how it works. And then he goes into the business development process. It's 7 steps and 7 different strategies you need to have in order to have a proper business development, right? So the first one is your primary aim. So this is when you focus on you. You figure out who you are, what you want, and like when you're gonna have it, right? Your primary aim is to be, mine personally, is to be at a lake house with several beautiful young children who I get to teach the secret to life to throughout every experience all day, and then I get to have them be little game changers who go out and help a bunch of people, right?
That's awesome.
Me and my wife are just gonna hang out there with our feet up on our dock, with our little minions running around, grabbing us beer and cleaning stuff up because they're like excited about being productive and happy. It's gonna be
beautiful.
It's gonna be super cool, right? And I'm gonna have that, by 2025 is when we'll have like the first like scenes.
And this isn't some bullshit law of attraction stuff. You're taking actual steps to get there.
Yeah, no. So I've got a timeline that I've created. It's like,
that's fantastic.
If I want this by then, what's half of that? So then I have a goal for half of that, which is by 2020 have $10,000 a month, right? And then half of that is to have like location free, so that I can live at the lake and work from the lake. All that good stuff. So no, it's not just like I'm hoping and wishing.
You have a game plan in place. And that's combined with that timeline. I love that. Like making the actual timeline
of knowing when things have to be done. So then if you keep on breaking that down, you know that you need to have one thing done.
So instead of letting things happen to you, you're trying to figure out what is going to happen.
Yeah.
Love it, dude. I feel like 99% of people are just walking around and letting life happen to them and have no direction. They have no idea of what they want. They've never even thought about it. They've never tried to plan it out.
That's the thing, is that they're not even letting life happen, right? They are in control, but they are letting life happen poorly. You know what I mean? Even to the point where it's like they're not like those. Like if you're in a spot like right now that you need to, make a big change. Like you're frustrated with things right now, and like you need to do something different. There's like this is the solution. This is the secret to everything. It's called the 3-step success process. I recently gave a talk about this at a digital marketing event. My buddies and I threw an event in Atlanta, and we had like 30 people come out to talk and learn about digital marketing, and I got to open up with a nice presentation about this exact topic, the 3-step success process. So success is defined as the achievement of an aim or purpose. I also got to go back and do the E-Myth Revisited, but
yes, we'll go back to the books.
But now we've opened up this can of worms.
Yes, exactly. Tangent. I love tangents.
Me too, man. So the 3-step success process, success being the achievement of an aim or purpose, is saying that you're achieving the thing that you decided that you wanted. It's the aim or purpose is a thing that you decided on. Success is not like an achievable thing unless you give it a destination.
You're in control
of what success means. Success is self-defined.
People try to always say the definition of success is this. My personal definition of success is being able to do what I want, whenever I want, wherever I want, and as much as I want. And but the I want part is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have to decide what that is so that when I decide it, then when it happens, then I'm successful.
Yeah. So that's success. And so what I'm saying, and then the process is defined as the steps taken in order to achieve an end.
Dude, how did my phone turn back on?
I think that was mine.
Oh, I heard it vibrating. I was like, I turned my phone off. How did it just turn itself on?
No, I think
it's all good. But anyways, what were you saying?
Process, the steps taken to achieve an end. So the success process would be the steps taken to achieve your particular end, right? So here it is, the 3-step success process. It's how to achieve anything ever. It's the same exact thing that everybody who has ever achieved anything has successfully put in place in their own life in order to achieve it. It is the only way to move things forward. Step number 1 is to decide what you want and write it down. So I'm talking about giving yourself what it is that you want and like when you're gonna have it and all that stuff. Like decide, man. It's okay to be a little greedy about it. Like I don't want to have people call me. I don't want to have anyone like have my number. I want to be able to just like own, like I want to be able to reach out to people. I want to be able to hop on Facebook when I want. I want to do Facebook Lives. I want people to fly down to my house. I want all this stuff about my life that's going to make me just fucking pumped to wake up. Right? Find that for yourself, man. Decide what you want and then write it down.
Fantasize. Like literally
fantasize, man.
Fantasize about what you want.
Literally
I think people are kind of either embarrassed or they're too...
Yeah. Well, it's because our creativity and imagination was literally intentionally stifled by the goddamn system.
The goddamn system, Owen.
Goddamn system.
That's what happened, though. You're right.
You decide what you want.
When you're younger, like when you were younger, did you ever like draw your dream room or dream house or anything like that? Like I used to always in art class make like these ballin' ass houses that had like foam pits and trampolines and all this stuff. And then like as an adult, you're like, I'll settle for this shitty apartment or something, you know?
That's not good. You shouldn't settle. Because this 3-step success process is a like definite law of the universe. Like this is like what is how it works.
So step one was write it down and decide.
Decide what you want. You know, fantasize about it. Really dive into who you are, all the different areas of your life. Like, do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be just like kind of chubby? Because that's cool. Like, you can still survive if you want. Like, you don't have to be like super ripped. You can be a bodybuilder. Just each area of your life. Like, do you want to volunteer? Do you want to like go to Africa and volunteer? Decide each little area of your life. I think that there's 8 main areas of your life, and you know, if you want to learn more about that, you can jump on the waiting list for my personal development workbook, because you know what millennials need?
Workbooks
and personal development. Yes, personal development workbooks.
That's awesome. If people want to jump on that waiting list, where can they jump on it?
It'll be up there on owenlutz.com.
owenlutz.com. Lutz.
Lutz. OWEN. Lutz.com.
And you can put your email in.
Yeah, put your email in, and I'll send. I think there's like one automatic email. It's like, thanks for joining, and so that's cool. And then once I've got that launching in the near future, you'll all be aware of it. But it gets like, go through the 8 main areas of your life. You decide what you want and write it down. So writing it down is what makes it real. That takes it out of the fantasy of your brain and onto ink on paper, something that you can like look at and be like, this is it. That's the thing. I wrote it down.
Love it.
That's I don't know. There's something about that
there is something powerful in writing it down.
They all wrote it down. All the ones that have done. All those who have done have written it down first, right?
Yes.
I've got 5 different Moleskine journals over the last 2 years that are completely full with where I am now, where I'm going, and how I'm going to get there. I write those 3 things down every single day. Where I am now, where I'm going, and how I'm going to get there. I'm going to repeat it one more time for everybody that's listening. I write this down every single day. Where I'm going, where I am now, where I'm going, and how I'm going to get there.
And what do you, I mean, if it's not too personal, what do you write down? What you kind of just talked about?
Yeah, all this stuff.
Nice.
All whatever I'm thinking. Like, this is just a random conversation
we're
having,
exactly.
Right? So I just do that with my journal.
That's awesome. Just having a conversation, inner monologue, just
inner monologue type of thing, like just chat.
Nice. Learn. I love that.
I
need to start journaling more.
Yeah, I tell you should get into bullet journaling. That's what I do.
You just write a bullet.
Well, basically, so bullet journaling, I also do like what I call brain dumps, where it's just like one page is just for just like spitting truth every day.
Wow.
And then the other page is like has like a time slot for like that whole day, like each hour, like what I'm going to be doing then. And then I have like the 3 questions. I answer each of them, where I am now, where I'm going to go, how I'm going to get there. Just real short, real quick, just keep my brain moving. And then weekly I go through a process called roles and goals, which is where I go through all the different roles in my life that I'm currently playing. So I've got my own life, my life as a husband, my life as a digital marketer, my life as a owner of a cleaning company. And then I analyze the goals for each week. But either way, that I've only gotten that far into this world of effectiveness because I decided what I want and I wrote it down. And then I reinforce that idea every single day with a positive attitude. That's step 2. Step 1 is decide what you want, write it down. Step 2 is to reinforce that idea every day with a positive attitude. So I use a 10-minute meditation every morning.
I was literally just about to talk about that.
Right? So reinforcing that decision every single day with a positive attitude makes it possible. That literally aligns your neurons in your brain, or whatever, your neurological connections, whatever it is that is making you do things, that aligns that with your purpose, with your aim, which allows you to see the opportunities and successfully perform step 3, which is act on every opportunity that you see. Because after deciding what you want, reinforcing it after every day with a positive attitude, you are open, ready, and willing to accept these things. You will see an opportunity and you'll be able to say, I am willing to put myself at risk in order to jump after that opportunity because I did the calculations to say that this is a good opportunity for me to follow. But you're only able to do that if you know where you're headed. You got to have that, think of it like a Google map, man. You got to have your destination, the pin dropped, and then all of a sudden, instead of looking at a huge circle of Georgia, you're narrowed in on an exact line of how to get there. And if you deviate from that path, then all it does is it goes, ding, do a U-turn. You're not on the right path. So teach yourself where you're headed, and then make that timeline of like, okay, at this point I got to go this way, at this point, and work backwards, which will allow you to know where you're headed and recognize when you deviate from that path. So
love that. One thing that I think that some people, like for example, one of my friends, she is so focused on like what she wants to happen. Like for example, she feels somewhat incomplete or anxious about the fact that, she's, doesn't have her own place right now, that she doesn't have a boyfriend, that she's, doesn't have the ideal job that she wants. And so she's got like all these expectations of like, well, by this time I want this to happen, and by this time I want this to happen. But it's like, I think that there's a balance there. There's a spectrum of, yes, it's great to write down your goals and exactly what you want by this time, because that puts it into reality. But if for whatever reason it's not happening as fast as you want it or whatever, you've got to be able to correct and adjust. Like you're saying with the map, like ding, we got to adjust. We got to figure this out because life is not linear. I like to think of it as, I've heard this method, it's called the Tarzan theory. And what it is you think about Tarzan on one side of the jungle, he's trying to get to the other side of the jungle. And there's obviously, you'd think the fastest path is just to go straight, right? But no, if he runs, he's going to get there slower because Tarzan can swing on vines. Yeah. But vines you can't just swing in a straight line because that's not the way that the vines take you. You might hit a tree. Yeah. You might not be able to reach the next vine.
Eaten by a gorilla.
Yeah, or whatever it might be. So Tarzan, he might go all the way down on one side of the jungle and then work his way all the way back to the other side, then might come back, he zigzags through the whole jungle.
Yeah, just
or maybe he goes up to one side or whatever. Faster. But there's no correct way. It's just the way that he chose ends up being the way, and he still gets to the end.
It's the choices, man.
Exactly. It's all about the yeses and nos.
It's all about the ones and zeros.
He has the choice, am I going to choose this vine or this vine?
Yes,
no. And he has to make that decision super fast.
Because he's flying through the air.
He's flying through the air.
Yes,
no. He is flying through the air. But that's, I really like that idea of thinking about life, because I think people are way too focused on like, I've got this one straight line and now I've got this roadblock and I'm a total fuck up and I'm a total failure because I'm not following my straight line.
Yeah.
You can't think like that.
So that's like, so my timeline
you got to approach with a positive attitude.
Yeah, totally. It's the positive attitude. Which is in step 2, man.
Love it.
I'm telling you, each of those steps are like.
And this is all stuff that you came up with based on your knowledge, or like how did you come up with this?
So the 3-step success process came straight on me old noggin after I read enough books.
That's really cool.
So I read enough books, and that's kind of been like my flagship. My flagship thing is like 3-step success right now.
That flows really good too. It sounds like a company or something.
Yeah, doesn't it? And I'm like, and I want it to be like a personal development thing where like, I just get to go talk to people about what kind of issues they have.
Yeah.
And like the little things they can do to improve their life.
I think that's why I really love having this podcast.
Yeah.
Because like you were kind of saying with those brain dumps that you do, I think that was one of the main reasons why I needed to do this. Like it's just been itching in the back of my head that I needed to put out content and just dump what I'm thinking, what my opinions, and that's pretty egotistical to think that people even care what I think.
No, it's not. That's not, because people do, man. People they need to hear this type of stuff. Man. So I get on Facebook Live every single day.
That's
so
awesome.
Like, if you enjoy what I'm saying, you should get on Facebook Live and hang out with me.
Definitely. Get on Owen's Facebook Live.
That'll be great.
And eventually, I'm going to be doing this podcast on Facebook Live and Instagram Live.
Oh, nice. Should we go live on my Facebook in a minute?
We can if you want to. I was just going to... I haven't done the live stuff because also...
Well, I was just saying, like, after the show.
After the show, let's go live. Yes, let's do it. But I was going to say, just because people are probably going, you never said the rest of the E-Myth. Go back.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Let's go back for a second and finish what that one's about. And then give me the third book.
The third book. You got it. Okay.
We went down a super deep rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So E-Myth, we were talking about,
E-Myth.
in the beginning of the story, he talks about the pies.
Talks about the pies, and then he talks about, and then, like, he works through, and, like, he doesn't talk about it, but he goes through the process of actually helping, removing his own story to find out what hers was and helping her with her story. And so then he goes into the 7 steps of the business development process, which is step 1, figure out your primary aim. So that's what it is that you really want for life. What is the feelings that you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? What do you want? Like, what would your life look like 30 years from now if you woke up on the best day of your life, like, and it was like, but it was just an average Tuesday? What would that day look like? Right? Write that down. Literally, write a full page of, like, I woke up in my king-size bed to the sun coming through my entire wall-sized window. I walked into my kitchen and started brewing my, like, medium dark roast coffee. I ate one of my wife's zucchini muffins, and then I took my big fat joint down to the dock, and I just sat there and I read a little book, I smoked a joint, drank some coffee, and then I sat down and I meditated for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, write it all out, man. Decide, like, I'm definitely going to be doing that, like, in the future.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely, like, that's what I want, and I'm definitely going to do that one day. At my lake house. Right?
I love how you brought up the fact that you would be smoking a joint, which is... I think a lot of people have this stigma about weed, that you're unproductive on weed. Like you were mentioning earlier, I wasn't trying to figure out how I could be productive smoking weed or whatever.
Yeah, so because that was a huge thing for me. It's like,
you would smoke and then just be lazy.
I was not about to, like, give up weed because, like, I wanted, like, better life.
What is it about weed that that you enjoy?
I don't know, it makes me happy. I just, like, think things are funny.
That's awesome.
You know,
that's beautiful, man. I think people want to just suck the pleasure out of life. They think that you shouldn't be they're doing things that bring you pleasure is looked down upon for whatever reason in our society. Yeah. I think it's because of, like, the puritanical kind of imprint that we have from the very beginning.
Yeah, which is interesting.
The Christian values of kind of no dancing, no partying, no drinking, no smoking, no fun at all. We need to follow the rules and pray to Jesus.
Yeah, when it's like, Jesus never said that shit.
You turned water into wine, bro. Let's get this party started, dog.
He never said that shit.
Let's turn this water into weed.
It's like, don't worry about them. Yeah, let's turn that water into weed. I'm all about it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but
So yeah, it just makes you happy, and it's just something you enjoy doing. So why would you give that up?
Yeah. So why would I?
If it doesn't affect you in a negative way.
Yeah, right.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Which it did for a little while, right? So I recognized, like, I did need to figure out how it was going to work. So, once I created my morning routine, which is, very strict, but again, we got to get through the book stuff.
Let's do it.
We'll get back there. Ask me about the morning routine in a minute.
I will. I was definitely going to ask you about the morning routine.
Cool.
Let's finish this book thing so then we can move on.
Step 2, after you create your primary aim, you create your strategic objective. So that is, what is the primary aim of the business? If the business is the ultimate business, what does that look like? For me and the business that I'm creating, that means that I've passed it on to employees who I trust, who are compensated well enough to feel like it's their thing also, and they will continue to build it and grow and ask me for advice and keep on sending me money. I want to do that with at least 5 different businesses that are, like, killing it with, maybe one person that manages even the me managing, like, isn't, like, I don't even have to give the advice anymore because I've got somebody else who's managing the guys managing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tim Ferris talks about that in the 4-Hour Workweek.
Yeah, that's book 3.
That's book 3? Yeah. Nice. Okay, so, but just a tidbit of that. One thing that really stuck with me was he gave this point about there was a threshold of money that the employees could spend on an issue, on fixing a problem, which I loved. It's like,
he started with $100.
If you can fix the problem for $100,
Do it.
or less, do it and don't ask my permission.
Yeah.
If the problem is going to cost more than $100 to fix, come to me. I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
I love that. That's such a simple solution
and
because
then
it gives the employees the power to fix things instead of having
just like
you
the
be
lean manufacturing. Hold up, stop, listen to me. I'm gonna fix something. It's cool, do that, let me know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then he increased that to eventually now he's got those guys that he's been working with for several years now, I assume, up to like, you can spend $10,000 and just don't tell me, just like fix a thing.
Just fix it.
If
that's the cost of business.
I'm sure he's not actually letting someone spend $10,000 willy-nilly, but still.
And Tim Ferris has even admitted that the 4-hour work week is really just kind of more of a concept than a general, actual business plan. But let's get into that in a second because that's the third book.
Yeah. So you got your primary aim and your strategic objective. Then you need your... Ooh, I thought I had it. Oh, it's what you need your organizational strategy, which means who is doing what. You've got your strategic objective. So in order to get that, who will be doing what? That's your organizational strategy, your CEO, your vice president of marketing, your vice president of operations, vice president of finance. Under that, you've got accounts receivable, accounts payable. You know what I mean? There's all these different job titles that, just because you're the only one doing it, you still need to know who is supposed to be doing what, even if you're wearing every single hat. That just means that if you can design the exact, steps, if you know the system, which is the next one is your system strategy, you need to know your SOPs, standard operating procedures.
Yes.
Right? So you need to know who does what. That's I guess the organizational strategy is the who, the different positions.
System
strategy.
That's really powerful.
Let me get through this real quick.
Yes. Go for it.
Otherwise I'm going to forget all of it. You got your system strategy, and then you've got your marketing strategy, which is just simple, how you're going to market. You've got your people strategy.
How you're going to manage your people.
How you're going to manage your people.
And then the last one.
And then one more. I apologize, everybody.
It's okay.
You got to read the book.
You got to read that book.
You
got to read it.
The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And then
Cool.
book number 3, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferris. That book, dude, he talks about DEAL. DEAL. This dude also breaks everything down into acronyms because he recognizes that the trying to process everything as it is nonsense. Brains can work with chunks better than they can with individual units. So he chunks things and turns them entire ideas into
bite-sized nuggets
or
of
acronyms,
chunks. Yeah, acronyms.
So he has his whole thing that he goes through there is DEAL. DEAL. Delegate, eliminate, automate, liberate. Delegate what you can, eliminate what you can, automate the rest, and then have someone else do anything else. Liberate yourself. Be free, people.
Too many people own their own businesses, but they let the business own them. They're employees and slaves to their own business.
In their business, not on their business. You got to work on your business so that your business can actually be a thing. Businesses are supposed to work for you, man.
Exactly.
And others.
Mailbox money.
Mailbox money.
That's what we need.
I like
that. One thing about Tim Ferris for me that really, reading the 4-Hour Work Week was so crucial in my mindset changing.
Yeah, totally.
Because I realized that, holy shit, the world is run by people that do this. Literally. Mm-hmm. The richest and most successful people in the world, they don't have to worry about who's doing what in their McDonald's or what employees doing what, because they got people for that. They've eliminated themselves from the equation so that they literally only have to spend 4 hours an entire week thinking about their business.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This guy came to me because this problem is going to cost $1 million to fix. Okay, cool. I give him permission to do that.
Right.
Cool. I'm taking myself out. I'm going to check my email once a week or once a month and deal with that bullshit once a month.
So again, I had the similar mindset shift, and this is not just there's one mindset shift that blows your mind and all of a sudden you totally got it.
One of mine was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad's a great one. It's super good. But that's the thing is that there is no one mindset shift that's going to blow your mind. Every single one of them is going to blow your mind because that's what it is. It's viewing the world through a different lens, adding something new to your own equation. And that book definitely did that for me as well, and that's why all 3 of those books did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So yeah, they were .com secrets, the E-Myth Revisited, and 4-Hour Workweek.
Cool. I'll
Yeah,
make
man.
sure to list those in the podcast notes.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, totally. Don't forget to put your affiliate link for the Entrepreneur Alliance.
Yes.
Because if anybody signs up for that amazing group, you can like Austin or Andrew actually gets paid because that's the way the group works. It's not like multi levels, so he would not continue to get paid if you
Recruit
shared
somebody
it
or
with a friend.
whatever.
But it's just like an incentive.
It's just a one-tier incentive, yeah, and you can
to
actually
bring people on, and because it's really helpful to entrepreneurs. If you're looking for like how to hack your habits, how to create your customer avatar, how to send cold emails, how to run local Facebook ads, how to do Instagram marketing, how to perform on Facebook Live, how to sell without being salesy, like all of those videos are in there, and it's just a really valuable thing.
And some of those trainings literally used to cost like thousands of dollars, but they've opened it up.
Yeah. So that brings me back to my story that where I started working with Austin Distel from Bravado Branding. Now he's the guy who runs all of the training videos for that thing. And so once he left to go work with them, that's when I kind of went on my own. So now we're actually selling my cleaning company this month, which is pretty freaking cool.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna be done with it, and we're so pumped.
Who's buying? I mean, how did you find a buyer?
Just another local cleaning company. We call them all like.
They're just incorporating your company into theirs.
Yeah, well, we're doing an add-on opportunity, so they're just gonna be getting the current clients that we have.
Nice. That's really cool. So you're getting rid of the cleaning company.
Getting rid of the cleaning company.
Just a total sell.
Yep, because I opened up my other business.
How many clients did you have?
16 every month.
Nice.
But we had like 10 other people every month that were like randos coming
Gotcha.
through. Like one-time cleanings. But we had 16 that were doing every single month, and then we had another 10 that were.
That's
so
cool.
we were cleaning like 40 houses a month.
Wow, that's really cool.
Big stuff, man.
That's awesome.
But so that's really cool that like I got to learn so much from doing all of that. So now I got to learn like how to even like position a business to sell, which is also really awesome to learn.
That's very, very cool.
So then,
because I remember at one point you were talking about franchising it.
yeah, right. That was the plan. But then we recognized after we worked with other people for a little while that it was like,
That's a big mess.
Not managing because we have to.
My dad owns a franchise.
Yeah, you gotta owns a franchise, right? Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, he owns a franchise, and I just know from the business aspect of it that it's a big mess trying to deal with your franchisees and all of that stuff, man. There's managing expectations.
So we decided
the
that we wanted a simpler.
Just sell it and get rid of it.
Sell, get rid of it.
So what's the big plan now? What are you doing now?
Yeah, so I'm managing marketing for entrepreneurs and business owners.
Nice. So just doing like ClickFunnels stuff and doing what you're doing for Bravado, kind of.
Yeah, totally. Just on my own now. So I started that in January of this year, and basically all that I do is I ask all the right questions that a business owner needs to ask themselves in order to find out who they're trying to market to, where they can find those people, what they're going to do to attract them to their process, how they're going to increase the lifetime value of each customer, how they're going to increase the frequency of purchase, how they're going to increase the purchase price, and how they're gonna, really grow their business, how they can automate stuff so that they can make money, make leads come in using the email thing that we were talking about earlier, like trying 19 cents, 20 cents, send someone to a website, 100,
So you can literally figure out the equation of
$100
I put in this money into this
stays with
machine
me for 12 months,
Yeah. I put in this money into the machine and I get this money out. It's beautiful.
Yeah, totally. So I figured I love helping people more than like anything in the world, and people don't know how to run their businesses. I started one business, and it was like all I did was I worked through, I went through the E-Myth Revisited, and I didn't read another, for 6 months while we were starting that business. I did not read any other books. I just went through that one book, and went through each of those 7 steps. And I said, okay, here's my primary aim. Here's my strategic objective. Here's my organizational strategy. Here's my systems. Here's my marketing. Here's my sales. Here's my people. And it was like, oh my goodness. It was just a system that made money. Obviously, we could have hired people and dealt with that next thing. Our people system wasn't very good. And our, organizational strategy, wasn't complete because we didn't, dive super deep into it because it was just me and my wife wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
So we just kind of divvied up the work. And
exactly.
So then now that I'm doing marketing, what I've recognized is that I need to, all I've been doing is I've been focusing hardcore on .com secrets. So for my marketing, I just read Russell Brunson's stuff. I just focus on his system that he teaches because that's the one thing, like his system works. So I'm going to use his system. I just witnessed Dan Henry, who's a Facebook advertising expert. He created a course for teaching people how to do Facebook advertisements. He made $1 million in 7 months using Russell's system. I just saw him make it happen. Like,
wow.
Watched him go from like, oh my gosh, I just had my first $10,000 day to, holy shit, this is my bank account with $1 million in it. Like
That's
cash.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. And using that one system. So I was like, cool, that'll be the system I follow. Right? And then I've got...
a great system.
Right? And so now I just found my own personal system for how I'm going to be the most effective person. So actually I guess the 4-Hour Workweek was not going to be my third book.
Let's scratch it.
That would have been fourth.
Screw you, Tim Ferris. I'm just kidding.
The third one that I would do is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
It's a good one.
Yeah, have you read it?
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah.
This is so once I recognized that the 3-step success process
I actually listened to it.
Oh yeah? I would recommend reading it too.
I know.
You get more...
You can pause and like think about it and write stuff down. I'm just terrible about like sitting down and like reading. I just feel like I'm...
That makes it the most important thing that you need to do.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
The thing that you don't want to do is most frequently the most important thing that you need to do.
That's true.
It's like if that's something that's like, oh, I have trouble doing that. It's like, well, duh, do it way more than you think you should. Wake yourself up early every day and that's what I do. I'm up at 6:20 every single day. My alarm goes off.
Morning routines.
Woo! All right.
This segment is called Morning Routines with Owen Lutz, and you have to say woo.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
I like it, dude. So morning routines, let's hit it. I talked with my friend Ashlyn Showalter. She's episode 2 of the podcast, and you can listen to that. And she talks about her morning routine. Let's hear about Owen's.
Oh yeah. So
you wake up at 6:20.
Yep, wake up at 6:20. But this is
First thing you do.
This is also in that personal development workbook. Like I go through like how you can create your own daily
morning
action
routine.
plan.
Love it.
I just say that mine's a morning routine. Yours can be any time of the day or night.
Ooh.
But as long as you have a
But I like
daily
the morning because it's like you start it off.
get you set up.
Productive.
I mentioned that in there too. It's really awesome. Real awesome.
Not to toot your own horn, but it's pretty freaking awesome.
No, I'll toot a Rudy toot all day, son.
Okay, so your morning routine do you have an alarm clock?
Yeah. Well, yeah. My phone goes off.
Yeah, you
Phone
got
goes
your
off
phone going
6:20.
Your eyes open up.
Eyes open up. Feet swing to the bed, and I go, yes, I'm alive.
So you're not looking at social media. You're not opening up Facebook.
No, yeah, I don't.
You're not opening up Instagram.
I
You are
mean-
getting out of bed.
Oh, I'm getting out of bed. Yeah, I don't lay in
Good.
bed until I'm.
Does your wife wake
I
up
don't open
with
up
you?
phone, like my phone or anything, or whatever. But I pick up my phone, take my phone with me into the next room where I grab my headphones. I put on my headphones like immediately, and I play the song "Free" by Fish. Every single day, same song. It's called "Free." Right?
Gets you in that mood.
Right, but here's what I do: is I walk into my kitchen right here. We're looking at it right now, and I press play, and then I take the first step into the kitchen. So it's like on like a. This is what helped me like know like I do this, right? This is my new thing. I do this. I press play. I get started. So I press play. I get started. I start brewing coffee, and then same part of the song is like pretty little guitar intro, and I'm just like, I'm gonna put my coffee and pour some water in the pot and turn the pot on.
And it goes with the song, kind of. Sort of.
That was bullshit. That was me just being like, just so I could, make the sounds, and so you guys can picture me like
making the coffee.
Because I was like, even in front of Andrew here, I was like going through the mode, making the. Anywho, then as soon as I press play, I walk out of the kitchen. I stand right in the middle of my open spot here on the floor, and I roll my neck, and I go through a whole stretching thing where I do a lot of breathing and rolling my neck and.
How did you figure out that routine? Did you hear it from somewhere?
My dad did it every day.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, so I witnessed it.
That's really cool. My dad does not have a morning routine like that.
He didn't he just brewed his coffee and stretched while his coffee was going, and then he would go sit in his office and do whatever. So all I witnessed was coffee and stretching. So then I was like, cool, I'll do that, coffee and stretching. So then I just did the stretches that I enjoyed doing, and I crack my back and I stretch one way, stretch the other, just like loosen myself up, swing my arms, let blood start flowing. And then I this next part like kind of varies between like which one I'm doing next, but I write in my journal, I read, and I meditate. Sometimes if I have something on my mind I want to write, I write it down right away. A lot of times I don't have anything to write until after I meditate, and a lot of times I read after I meditate, but sometimes when I don't really feel like meditating right away, I'll sit down, I'll read a bit, and then I'll know that it's like, yeah, that's a nice thought. Let me start there. So then the way that works for the meditation thing is I sit cross-legged on my couch here. I put a pillow behind my back so I'm sitting up straight. It's comfy. And I learned how to cross my legs like
the good way.
Well, no, not even the good way. Just I was unable to growing up. Like in high school, in elementary school, I just had my hip and my left knee just like I was so uncomfortable, and I wasn't about to do something. I was uncomfortable. So I just never once tried to do it. I just didn't, because I tried it once and I didn't want to do it anymore. Who cares? Do the thing, man. Do the thing that sucks, because the more you do it, the less it will suck. That's how the brain works. We have stuff called myelin in our brain that is a insulator that is laid down over our neurological connections every time we do something. It's the reason that habits are persistent. So for me, I bite my fingernails. If I have a little nick on my finger, I feel the nick, and then I bring my finger to my mouth and I start biting on my finger, right? So every time I feel that nick, the neuron fires, and that layer of insulation, the neurological connection then has a nice strong path to go through, and it's hard for me to stop once I get it going, right? But the way the brain works is that if you intentionally let that initial neuron fire, so if I feel the nick of my fingertip, then I do something else. I touch my knees and take a deep breath. And then that changes the path. So then that neurological connection no longer fires to the bring the hand to mouth path. It goes to the take your hands to your knees and breathe path. Which is not harmful. I'm biting my finger, that's harmful, right? So habits are a manipulatable thing, but you have to,
you have to know the trigger and do something else once you realize you're doing that thing.
And then set the trigger off and do something else. So not just recognizing what the trigger is, but find your trigger, set it off, do something different. That's how you reroute a habit. Why did I get started talking about that?
You were talking about your morning routines, and you learned how to do cross-legged because you're meditating.
Yep.
How long do you meditate for? 10 minutes, you said?
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
Do you use guided meditation, or do you just sit there?
I've got a nice song that it was the first one I ever put on. I typed in meditation music. It's a 3-hour song, but I just listen to the same 10 minutes of it every day just because it's relaxing, and I don't have to think about it playing because I'm so used to it now. So it's like that song plays, and I know that it's like, cool, breathe. So I do the thing where I touch my index and thumb together, and I'm sitting cross-legged with my hands up, and I'll just kind of chill out a minute.
What are you trying to accomplish when you're meditating, and what are you thinking about, if anything?
I've got a couple different exercises that I go through. One of them is finding your breath, which is like a way of just focusing on air coming in and your chest filling up, and then your chest getting smaller. Just the consistent flow of that breath is really like everything.
Hi, Amy.
What's up, Amy? My wife walked in. She's so cool. Yeah, so that during that meditation thing, it's all about the breathing. So I just that's how I first found out that I wanted to do meditation a lot. Was I found my breath. That's the very first way I got into it. I just sat quietly and closed my eyes and kept on doing it. Just keep on being intentional. Don't let yourself get distracted. Forcing yourself to do something very simple like that is extremely therapeutic. And eventually it opens you up to be like, oh man, I feel relaxed. It's really, really nice. So I highly recommend that's the first thing. If you've never meditated before, just sit quietly and breathe in and breathe out. And when thoughts come in, just remind yourself to focus on the movement of your body as you breathe and having a consistent breath. That's the first thing.
When your mind travels away, just say, okay, let's go back to the breath.
Back to the breath, right? So
and when in the beginning, you're gonna suck at it.
Yeah, you're gonna be so bad. You're gonna do 3 breaths before you start thinking about something else. Then you're gonna realize it's my chest isn't really moving. I'm not doing very intentional breaths. Let me breathe again.
And so what does meditation do for you?
Well, so
What's the positive for
that's
it?
just one. That's just like one.
Okay, gotcha.
Of the different exercises I do. I've got 2 others that I think are like the most beneficial. So after you start breathing and kind of find your calm, which is like eventually you can quiet your mind to the point where it's like you can then recognize that like, well, I don't want to get like too weird with it, but recognize that you are just a mind, that you're just this outside observer, that you are I.
I love that.
Everybody is I. You know what I mean? Like we all refer to ourselves as I, but it's like, I think
your body is not you. You're your brain and your consciousness.
Well, you're
but is your body you? Is it part of you?
Right. Once you get like, if you breathe long enough, you get to that point where you're like,
am I just sitting in this weird meat vehicle?
Yeah, right. It's kind of it's pretty weird. So that and that kind of opens you up to the idea that like we're all one consciousness. Like everything is like, you know, way more connected than we think we are. So like you really should just focus on helping other people because we're super connected and super similar, you know? So that's, I think, pretty huge. And then one of my other exercises is I love nature and the outdoors. So I just picture a big, huge, beautiful like field, and I've got a couple of trees, a couple of mountains in the background, and, you know, I'm very specific about it. Create something like, just like really picture it, close your eyes and like really see the thing. Like picture it on the inside of your eyelids. You are creative enough to do that. You do have enough imagination as a human being to be able to picture things and be convinced that you're actually seeing them. Like it looks very real. You can see the details. Do that for yourself. But people haven't done that since we were little kids. And you just completely forgot what it's like to really picture something. You might have never even done it before. I don't think I had ever actually like pictured anything in my mind with my eyes closed until I did it while I was meditating. And that was the first time that I was like, wow, we are a mind-blowing species. Holy shit. So that's one of the things I do. That also helps me just like be happy and
that's awesome.
Beautiful state status. You know what I mean? You're just trying to live in a beautiful state all day. That's how you make things happen. And then my third one is when I, you know, like don't know like what to do, or like I have like a big question that I'm struggling with. I have what I call my imaginary counsel. So I got, man, this should be in the top 3 books too. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This dude, you know, he talks about the 13 principles of accumulating wealth. And he talks about it like, duh, you have faith that you can achieve wealth if you wanted to. You have the desire so that you know what it is that you want. You have that fire burning in you to go get it. And you have the persistence to do it every single day. So you have perseverance. So you have faith, desire, and perseverance. You can achieve anything. So here are the other 13 things you need to know in order to make that stuff happen, which is an organized plan. You need to have specialized knowledge. You need to have a mastermind alliance. You need to meditate and have an imaginary counsel and all these other different things. So my imaginary counsel is something where while I'm meditating, just sitting quietly on my couch, I imagine going up to the biggest, baddest oak tree of my big, huge green field, and I open these huge, giant oak doors into this huge, badass oak office with this big, giant oak table at it. I like oak, I guess. And
Professor Oak.
That might be it. I'm a huge polka fanatic. That's awesome. Yeah, I guess.
You got the big oak table.
Yeah, big oak table, right? And so then one at a time, I have 7 different people that I highly respect walk in. Like I just imagine that they walk in.
Are these real people or fictional people?
Real people.
So they're people in real life that you know, but you're in your brain.
They're real people. I haven't met all of them, but I've read something from all. So I've.
Who's on your imaginary council? If you don't mind.
Of them. No, of course it's Jesus Christ, first one to walk in. I'm not even like a Christian guy. I just think that like obviously he was doing something right. If everybody loved him and he was healing people and shit, I think that like. If he was God coming down in human form, then he was just human while he was here.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if he did, if that's like, or he was severely misunderstood and wasn't actually like. And when he said that I am God, he did not mean that like he's different than us as like a different being. He like we're also God. Is like, you know what I mean? Like everything is everything. And once you get into that type of reality, that's when you start talking about lizard people and shit. Either way.
So Jesus Christ, number one.
Jesus Christ, Tim Ferris,
Tim Ferris.
Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk. You turned me on to Gary Vaynerchuk. Now Gary Vaynerchuk just turns me on. Napoleon Hill is the author of Think and Grow Rich. My dad, and Luke Crawford, actually. Right? So I wanted to have a nice wide range of people.
Because he's like one of your peers that you respect.
He's one of my peers I respect. So I...
That's cool. I need to get Luke on the podcast soon.
Yeah, Luke is the man, dude. We should do a 3-way podcast with all of us.
That would actually be very fun.
That would be a blast.
I'd be very into that.
So,
haven't done a 3-way yet.
So I ask my imaginary counsel a question, and I have all of them, my imaginary friends, respond fast. Like, I ask a question, and then like I look at them, I picture myself. I'm still sitting still here, quietly breathing, but I'm looking at Luke Crawford, and I say, "Hey, what should I do?" And he said, "What do you think you should do?" And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I should write that down." So then I was like, "Okay, I'll write that down as soon as I'm done with this." And then I asked my dad. I was like, "Dad, what do you think I should do?" And he said, "What do you know that you need to do?" And I was like, "Damn, that's brilliant, Pops. That's exactly what you would say." And then I looked at Napoleon Hill, and I said, "Napoleon Hill, what should I do?" He said, "Go reread my chapter on organized planning." And I said, "Oh my God, that's exactly what I need to do." And then I looked at Gary Vaynerchuk, and I said, "Gary, what do I do?" He said, "Put your heart in it, man. Get after it. Take action." I was like, "Damn it, that's exactly what you would say, Gary Vaynerchuk." And then I looked at Tony Robbins. I said, "Tony, what should I do?" He said, "Owen, they've got it right, man. Think about it. Be passionate and help people." And I was like, "Damn it, you're right, Tony. That's exactly what you would say." And I looked at Tim Ferriss. I said, "Tim Ferriss, what do I do?" He said, "Do all that stuff and then analyze it and optimize it." And then his song started playing, like, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah. Tim Ferriss podcast.
Yeah, the Tim Ferriss podcast song started playing, and he was like dancing. I was like, "Tim, you're awesome. That's exactly what you would do." And then I looked at Jesus, and he was like, "Owen, begin with the end in mind and be a good dude." And I was like, "Damn it, Jesus, that's exactly what you'd fucking say to me. Give me a fucking pound, bro. Jesus, you're the fucking man." Right? No, so I asked all these people, and the how fast they respond in their own tone inside of my own brain. It just like, you got the answers in there, man. Fucking ask yourself the right questions.
That's
and
so
you
true.
are going somewhere.
Like literally, what would Jesus do?
What, dude? Oh my goodness. And it's mind blowing because, you've read all this stuff. You have, back to the school thing, being like intentionally separating and like intentionally like there's like a reason school is so awful. I think it's to separate the conscious from the subconscious mind. The way they train us to learn information is to stuff it in our brain, regurgitate it, and forget it. So that we're no longer using the holding tank of information that is our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is just, get A, B, I do maths. Just so stupid. So stupid. It drives me crazy. Because like once you recognize that you have all of the information that you've ever experienced locked away inside your own brain, and you can use meditation and specific questions to pull that information out of your brain, and that is not a commonly discussed topic or like widely
even
known
thought about.
It's like, dude. they're mind fucking us as like the ones who own everything, like
lizard people.
The goddamn lizard people.
The lizard people are not in your 7 people.
No, those lizard. None
people.
of those people are lizard people.
So that's really interesting. I've never heard this idea of during meditation doing it with the 7. I really like that. That's so cool. Yeah. So you don't use any kind of guided thing. You just do either of those 3 things.
It's all me. Like it doesn't.
That's so cool.
You can do it. Like if you don't know what you're doing,
I want to start doing that.
If you don't know what you're doing, do a guided meditation. I definitely did more than one in the past, just because it's like.
Yeah, you kind of feel dumb just sitting there. Like, what am I?
What am I doing? Like, I'm not doing anything. Exactly. You're not doing anything. All you're doing is using that beautiful machine in your brain, inside your head. Just use it.
Yeah.
Without any other neurological connections going on. Don't have anything firing. Don't do anything. Don't be thinking too much. Breathe.
Yes.
Just be a brain.
Dude,
be a conscious mind.
Have you ever been to a sensory deprivation tank?
No.
Or do you know what it is?
I want to, because I know I would be tripping balls in that thing. I am so creative. I'm getting so good at yeah.
There's one in Little 5 Points. Let's go.
Today?
Not today, but
what?
Let's just go in general.
Let's go today.
Because I have another podcast to record later. But, dude, there's a Groupon that you can get, and you get 2 90-minute floats for $99. So it's $50 for each hour and a half session.
Hour and a half?
Dude, yeah. I've done it twice now.
Oh, wow.
It's weird because the second time I did it, I realized the whole idea of it is to separate, like you're saying, your brain from the rest of your body. You're just letting yourself be a brain. And it's weird because the second time I did it recently, and I actually have a bonus podcast that we'll be releasing soon with Ashlyn Showalter, my friend. We actually went to Flotus. That's a place where it's called Flotus. We went to Flotus together.
And then talked about it.
And then went to my car and talked about it, what we experienced. But one weird thing was that it actually made me hyper aware of my body the second time because I was really tight in my back and my abs and stuff. And I couldn't get out of my body. I constantly was thinking about my body. And the whole time I'm like, gosh, I need to do more yoga and meditation and stuff. Because like, I cannot even stop thinking about my body. I can't even... It was weird, but I did have a few out-of-body experiences the second time as well. But
that's just like you just gotta.
Yeah, exactly.
You
need to get loose and stop thinking about my body.
It's almost impossible.
And like you said about the nail biting thing, it's like even with having an itch, when you have an itch, you don't actually need to itch it.
It's amazing.
Your body's just like
you're not actually in pain. You're responding to pain.
Whoa, it's deep, bro. That's really cool though.
It's just
the
like
response.
It's just notifications.
Exactly.
Your body just notifying
It's an intense
you.
notification.
It's an intense notification that you respond to and go, oh, it hurts, and then it goes, yep, that is pain.
Yeah, because there's some people that don't experience pain in the same ways.
Obviously, there is like it is painful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks.
But like if you continue to think about it, like it's so one of the reasons that I love meditation so much. First few times I was doing it, my legs kept on hurting, so I was doing it just like sitting in a chair. Like on my couch with my feet on the floor, so I didn't cross my legs for a while. And then eventually I started crossing my legs, and they like really hurt, and I was thinking about like my leg hurting. I was like, I just want to meditate, like cross-legged because I'm cool.
I want to look like a Buddhist monk.
Right, but then eventually I was doing it, and I vividly remember being like, I don't feel my leg. I don't feel my leg. And then I was like, wait, is my mouth open or closed? I was like, I don't even know, and I don't even have to move. This is amazing! I'm freaking out. I was like,
really cool.
Yeah, right. So once I realized, I was like, oh, I can shut off the receptors from the pain in my leg to my brain, because it was like I remember going from pain to wait, there isn't any pain there. It's just different than the other leg.
Wow.
So that was weird.
When did you start meditating?
Probably a year ago.
Wow. And it's been
every day.
Really, really helpful for you, obviously. That's really cool.
Most helpful.
So we were going through your morning routine.
So again, that's back to step 2 of the 3-step success process. Reinforcing every day is meditating, spending 10 minutes. Literally, that's all it is just 10 minutes of sitting quietly. If you can't give yourself 10 minutes a day, then
you're doing something wrong.
Maybe doing something wrong.
So 10 minutes to meditate, then you read, journal, and it doesn't matter what order, it just depends on how you're feeling.
Yeah.
How much do you read? How long do you read?
That also depends on like what it is that I have to get done.
Yeah.
So it's like if I have like
typically on a regular day, how long will this 3-step process be? Reading, meditation, and journaling. Like how long do you spend every morning doing that?
10 minutes on meditating, 10 minutes on journaling, 20 to 30 minutes reading.
Cool. So it's like an hour.
It's like an hour total for like the whole process.
Yeah, you get
which
coffee.
Is like coffee brewing, stretching.
So by 7:20, you're done.
Yeah, 7:20. I'm starting to work on, and then I'm building, and then because I try to journal if I journaled first.
Do you smoke in the morning?
Yeah, but I try to. Yeah, I smoke like right before I meditate, and then I don't smoke again until after I've like gotten some stuff done.
Cool.
So I smoke right before I meditate, and I'm drinking coffee. So I just have a couple sips. And then by the time I'm done meditating after 10 minutes, my coffee is like the perfect temperature, and it's just like.
And of course, this is all alleged, since we are in the great state of Georgia where marijuana is not legal. So this is all alleged.
I smoke.
We're smoking.
I smoke tobacco.
Yes, we were talking about cigarettes here. So
no, cigarettes, gross.
Just kidding.
All natural tobacco.
We were talking about marijuana.
Yeah, I kind of quit smoking cigarettes.
That's awesome, man. How long?
I smoked one again recently, but still, it's been a long time. I haven't had a pack in months, which is cool.
That is really, really cool. How long did you smoke for? Smoke cigs?
I started smoking cigarettes when. so again, youngest of 7 children, so I had my brothers teach me how to be a bad kid early. You know, I was really young. I think I was 13 when I started smoking, and I had like first time I ever smoked like weed, I was like 13, and then I didn't smoke any cigarettes until maybe I was 15, but then I would go steal some from like my brother's packs or something like that, and would go outside and smoke one on the side of the house and then sneak back inside.
So your motivation for that was just you wanted to be cool and you wanted to do something cool?
Yeah, and then I kept doing it until eventually I was like, me and all my friends smoked cigarettes, so it's like we'd go to parking lots and, you know, drink beer and smoke cigarettes.
It's fun. Sounds fun.
Yeah. It was. It really. I mean, it really was. Because like when we don't have anything
with
to
your buddies.
do, it's all your buddies. But now it's like I don't. Now I'm trying to move forward. I'm not trying to like. Not. I mean, I love my apartment. I love my life right now. I love everything about where I'm at because I know that I'm on my way. You know, going somewhere that I also really want to be.
Yeah. So that's really, really cool. So morning routines I feel like are super important for people to have. My morning routine right now is like pretty weak as far as the rigidity of it. I need to get more focused in on like what exactly I need to do.
Get
every
up
morning.
Earlier, force yourself into it.
My thing is I just like I'll just instinctively start like looking at Instagram or something.
Like, so then stop.
I know.
It's not instinctive. You're picking up your phone and you're opening the app.
It's true.
It's a 0 and a 1, Andrew. You're choosing
the yes and no.
Yeah, no, that's
so let's talk about that we were talking about at the very beginning. You kind of went down this little rabbit hole and then we kind of reeled back about the 0s and 1s. And so just kind of spitball on that because I know you've got plenty of stuff to say.
Yeah. 0s and 1s. Everything's just, you know, we talked about the ancient Egypt and ancient Chinese mathematics was based on binary, so 1s and 0s. Are you familiar with that? Like, you know, we
concept?
use the 1s, 10s, 100s place.
Yes.
But they only use by 2s. So they have a 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And so it's like, is there a 0? No. Is there a 2? No. Or something, or I don't know. So it's like on and off is like how, so 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, everything doubles.
Oh, I see.
Okay. And then using those doublings of numbers, 1s and 0s can depict every number. So if you're looking for 3, you would have, and you had like 0 through 20 of 0, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. You know what I mean? All the way up to it doesn't matter how far you're on. But if you're trying to get the number 3, then you would look at the 0s, 1s, and the 2s place, and you would do. There's a 0 on 0, there's a 1 on 1, and a 1 on 2. That means 3. So 0, 1, 1 is 3.
Gotcha.
So then if you were going to look at it even longer, it would be 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like 0s and 1s is like a simple little binary test later on for people. But if you're... I don't know, 0s and 1s, like everything's just a simple choice. So that like simple type of mathematics, how like everything works down to like photosynthesis and stuff like that. I mean,
everything is 0s and 1s. That's all we are.
That's all we are. It's just 0s and 1s.
We're a brain that processes things with 0s and 1s.
Well, obviously there's a lot more into it.
Because I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say like, what about the like I was kind of saying earlier about like consciousness or like things that we can't really explain or like what is consciousness? What is...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I like the 0s and 1s idea because everything is just... your whole life and everything is just a combination of all the decisions you've ever made.
Yeah. So
to get you here.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. You flip one switch different and you could be in a totally different place.
Yeah.
That's why people are so afraid of like, oh, well, if we time travel, we change something, the world is totally different.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like in movies.
Because I think that's what would happen, right?
Exactly. It makes sense that would happen.
But I don't think it's ever going to get to the point where it's like you go back and like touch somebody, like shake someone's hand, and then that person becomes Hitler. I don't think that's
what happens, dude. I'm just kidding. What? Whoa. Okay, dude. And then we were also going to talk about the lizard people.
Oh, yeah.
And conspiracies. I think this would be a good subject to kind of wrap up the podcast on.
Yeah, let's
give... So what's this... We were talking earlier about these lizard people and the people that kind of control the world. And I'm pretty into conspiracy theories as well. And people are like, well, I'm not into conspiracy theories. Well, everything is tons of things are conspiracies that you believe in. I don't believe in conspiracy theories. Do you believe in the government? The government is a conspiracy theory because literally they conspire together to make something happen. That is a conspiracy. Yeah. And a conspiracy theory is just theorizing what a group of people are conspiring to do.
Yes.
So if you're like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Yes, you fucking are. You theorize about what the government does on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You have your own ideas of what something happens. But in general terms, when people are thinking of what a conspiracy theorist
they're thinking 9/11.
They're thinking 9/11. They're thinking intergalactic child molesters. Like they're thinking Alex Jones shit. They're thinking, all kinds of weird conspiracies. Even Sasquatch or Bigfoot or anything like that. But these lizard people, who are the lizard people?
The lizard people. So I am basing this off of several different documentaries that I watched about.
Are these YouTube videos that have
Yeah, I've watched. One of them was I think it was a 9-hour program.
Wow.
I watched over a period of time.
Yeah, no.
Watched 1 hour at a time. But it was called Ancient Knowledge. Highly recommend that people go look at it because it's that's going to be hey, you've been lied to forever. There's way more going on than sticks and rope building the pyramids. It's not just a tomb.
So what is it?
Not just a tomb.
Tell me what it is, because I'm curious. I've never seen this documentary.
The natural energy of the universe, or the planet. I'm not sure what it's used for. It's too complicated.
I see.
But I do know that there's it has the exact same purpose as the ziggurats in. You know what I mean? And the Easter Egg Island.
The Easter Island heads.
They're not heads, they're full bodies.
Oh, they're buried.
They're buried, and they reburied them. They were found, dug up, and reburied.
Why did they do that?
Maybe they don't want people to, search for all these crazy things. They want to think about these. They cut off one of their heads and put it in a museum to make people think that it's heads, not just bodies. Why? Did you know that there were ancient Egyptian artifacts found in the Grand Canyon?
What?
Yeah.
Dude, have you read...
they didn't tell you about that, but there's a bunch of rocks named after stuff in Egypt for some reason in the Grand Canyon, but nobody knows about the ancient caves and stuff and the different civilizations that lived there that have not been taught to us. All that lived here were the ancient, not even ancient, were just the, wild bush people. That's all that was on...
That's all that was
on this entire land of
in North America, there was no intelligent life forms. They were just Native Americans that were
primitive. Primitive.
In their little teepees and throwing spears and arrows, and they were silly, and we conquered them. Now they have little Indian reserves.
No, it's so
where they have casinos. That's where we go gamble.
So the whole idea that America was founded because people were trying to get away from England, it was really founded as a way for England to the people that were trying to control England, and England was still had their primary the primary bloodline is what the lizard people are. So I'm basing this off of all these different documentaries that I read, and that the Bible is the accurate an encoded accurate history of humanity. Encoded being that it's not a god came down to this. Might have been aliens is what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking that these lizard people are
it's a metaphor.
Alien offspring of the aliens that helped us design the pyramids and that took people from apes to people.
Ooh.
So here's what I'm thinking.
Because there is no explanation for how we got from chimps to people.
Yeah, so I'm thinking they did that.
So aliens did it.
Yeah, so this conspiracy theory is that way, way, way back in the day, the planet Earth was discovered by an intelligent race who came down here and decided they were going to start mining for stuff here, and they wanted to use the primitive apes to do it. And then they, and there is evidence that that apes progressed into humans with different types of skulls and stuff that were found, but there's cone heads and stuff that were from ancient Egypt and markings on the walls and stuff, and just so many different crazy things. But Noah's Ark is I think they came down here, and then when the place flooded is when they did the real big DNA splicing that turned everybody into who we are now.
So this intelligent life form that came down, these aliens.
Yeah.
What was their purpose for doing that? You said they were harnessing the power of the Earth.
Well, yeah. So that's what they're doing is harnessing the electromagnetic field of the Earth to achieve, use it to communicate with other things and do other it's just a giant power powerful thing, this giant rock spanning through space, and the harnessing that is possible since,
Why would they choose our planet versus a different planet? Because there's life on it?
There's life on it. So it's obviously got some value to it. But they found these apes that would just like throw poop at each other. And so they're like, wait, what if we implanted into that brain a little bit of what makes us intelligent? And maybe what if we did that, and that then taught them how to... So like they started like mating with like these apes to like... and doing all this other stuff. And I think that's why there's like one portion of our brain that's like still like the reptilian.
Yeah, the reptilian brain, yeah.
Right, so the reptilian brain's in our brain too, right? So then I think that the way it works is that like, those people like use that like reptilian brain as a way to like separate some of the humans from others, so that humans would be able to direct humans to do the will of the aliens, even if the aliens left. And then that bloodline of superior type of people were given this type of secret that you actually do have all of the power to do whatever it is that you want to do in life. And then, we're then the sacred bloodline of all the people that ever ruled anything, which was why all of the presidents kind of have a similar bloodline. And that's why America is actually just the front for like the New World Order, because the banks now like own everything.
Yep.
Right? So Agenda 21 is that New World Order where it's like we're going to take over and actually have like our...
What is Agenda 21 and how... Like you explained it earlier, but where is this Agenda 21 listed? Like is it written down somewhere? Like who made it?
I don't know. My brother told me about it. He wrote a song about it actually. You should go listen to Welcome Agenda 21 by Sailing to Denver.
Sailing to Denver.
Sailing to Denver is my brother's band.
On SoundCloud, or where can you find it?
Yeah, SoundCloud and YouTube. YouTube has a good video because like you can hear like people talk, like they have like an interview style video where like it opens up with someone talking about Agenda 21 and then it goes into the song.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's really good. You guys should go watch it. But yeah, just Agenda 21 is like the New World Order.
And so for people listening and they're very new to all this stuff and maybe they are just now getting woke, as you would say.
Yeah.
And they have been in this system their whole life and they know nothing about the New World Order. What is the New World Order?
Oh, I mean, it's just like New World Order. I don't even know. It's not even.
It's
new.
kind of just. I would.
It's not
kind of
new.
describe
It's the same people as not even like the same people, but the same ideas from the Knights Templar and like all the other people that were like that killed Jesus and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows?
So the New World Order though is like kind of this conspiracy of people.
It's dumb ideas being passed down to even dumber people.
And they want to basically rule the world, kind of.
Well, they are succeeding in that.
They are succeeding in that.
They rule the world right now.
So these like, the Bilderberg group, you've got the Rothschilds and the, Rockefellers.
Yeah, they all
all
work together to
Are
rule
they
the
lizard
world.
people?
So I'm not sure exactly who the lizard, like which people are the lizard people.
So these lizard people, do you think they're actually, like lizard people, we're calling them lizard people, are they aliens? Is that what they are? Or are they been implanted with their brains and they have more alien brain than we do?
I think they have more alien brain, but then again, it's also like just a bloodline of alien brain that so it's not like these people themselves were not, but they're part of like a distinct bloodline.
Whoa.
That has more in-depth alien brain. So that's like
so
those aliens are like still here on Earth like all the time. Like it's not like they went anywhere. Like well, they might have gone somewhere, but they. Do
you think they look like us?
No, I think that they use that part of the reptilian brain. So the part of the reptilian brain that we're talking about is how like when you skydive or when you bungee jump, it's not long enough to like get your mobile stuff back, but you bungee jump and you're frozen as you fall. Well, that's lizard brain taking over because chameleons, will stop and like freeze and like blend in with stuff. So I'm thinking that they can use that part of the brain, the aliens can, to like tap into our brains from afar using just telepathic, who knows? Something unexplainable to tap into our brain so that we can't see them. So that like it like freezes that response. So it's like it stops us from seeing them.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept.
So,
So,
right? It's wild. I don't know like if I actually believe any of it, but
yeah, it's interesting.
because you can't really believe anything, so it doesn't matter what the humans.
Like you were saying, if we believe the Bible is like kind of a story of life, how do you interpret that? And like you said you're not really Christian, but you kind of still believe in some of this stuff and the.
Yeah, I just think that like I can't be an atheist just because it's like.
It seems too stupid.
It's too.
I can't believe in nothing.
Crazy. So I'm like. And I'm not really like agnostic to say that like I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know.
It's kind of
feel
silly.
Like I feel like I felt.
It's kind of silly to say that you do know.
I felt God.
No, but I think that, that's something very powerful. One thing that
but it was just myself, and I recognize that it was me meditating and my own neurological connections firing.
That is a weird thing, though. Is like our brain has that power to create entire worlds. Mm-hmm. And we can create sensations that are unexplainable in our own brains. And design our own lifestyles. There's a song by Porter Robinson called, I think the song is just called Worlds, but he had this tour called Worlds where he's a DJ, but he does this live stuff where he'll play drums live and he'll do a bunch of cool stuff live, and he's actually like performing live even though it's an electronic song that he could just like press play on.
Yeah.
He's like doing the song live, which is sick. Nice. But these visuals that he had were so crazy. And he's like really into like Japanese anime culture and like so in anime everything's like text based. You're reading not anime, that's cartoons. I'm talking about the comic books. What are those called?
Manga?
Yeah, I think that's it. He's into that kind of stuff. So like as the words are being repeated, it'll like say it on the screen and it looks like video game, like it looks like in Pokemon when the words come up and it's not like the text all appears at once, it like one letter at a time appears, so it's like that. And his music also kind of sounds like video game music in a little bit, so it's just really nostalgic and amazing. I love Porter Robinson, but one of his songs, it's saying each one of us has the power to create entire worlds. Each one of us is a world. Like each one of us inside of us has the infinite capability of creating entire worlds. And it's so trippy because during his show that quote like keeps appearing and it's like being like brainwashed into your brain because you're seeing it visually, you're hearing it, everyone's experiencing this like communal experience together. It's almost like a religious experience. It's fucking sick. And like he does other songs that are like that too, where it's like he'll have the words like reappearing and stuff over and over. It's so freaking cool. But it's trippy because every single one of us has a world inside of our brains.
Yeah, you get to do whatever you want with it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, man. Well, let's wrap this bitch up. What do you want to promote anything? You want to shout anything out? You want to? Where can people find you? On Facebook?
Yeah,
Facebook
Facebook's
Live?
the way to go. I think I've still got 3,300 spots available as friends of mine on Facebook.
There we go. So if you want to be a friend of Owen Lutz, go
only
find
3,300 spots left, so get yours while you can.
Get yours while you can.
Come join me on Facebook. I like getting on Facebook Live.
What do you do on Facebook Live for people who are...
mostly just talk about marketing and how to propel your life forward. That's like what I'm all about these days, is like unstuck yourself. You may have been brainwashed forever, but as soon as you recognize that you A, were brainwashed, and B, can do something about it, I would like to help you start beginning to do something about it.
Love it.
So it's like, one, I'd like to wake you up. Two, I'd like to help you stretch and get started.
Love it.
So yeah, come hang out with me, get started, go to owenlutz.com. I'm going to be revamping that website soon because I'm going to be putting on media appearances like this beautiful podcast, other shows I've been on, all my live streams and stuff will be on there, and then there'll be sweet links to different marketing funnels where I will, if you're interested and you want to click on the things, then each different thing you click on will be a way for me to provide you with a little more value based on that initial thing that you were interested in clicking on, in which case you can purchase some stuff from me. I've got an affiliate link funnel set up for that .com secrets book because I really think if you're going to be selling anything online, and that's like the process to follow. So of course, message me about that book. I can get you a link where you can buy it, and then you
get money too, right?
Well, I don't actually get any money from the book itself because it's a free plus shipping offer, which means that they pay for the book. All you gotta do is pay like $7.95 to get the book shipped to your house. So I don't get paid for that book, but then if like there's a thing called a sticky cookie. So then if you were to go through and buy any of their other products from me or from them, then I would still get a commission on those other products. So it's a cool
because
way
you're the one
for
who
me
introduced
them to the system. And
because of that little sticky cookie.
Yeah, that little sticky cookie. Yeah, but I use ClickFunnels, to build websites. So I've got an affiliate link for that, and I love promoting the Entrepreneur Alliance. And then I run Facebook ads for local businesses.
Sweet. So if you're a business owner, and you need some help and you want to figure out how to make a money machine,
free advice. Hit me up. I'll chat all day.
Nice, cool. You're on Instagram? A little bit,
I got
maybe.
Owen James Lutz, but I'm barely ever on there.
Cool. Facebook's the way to go.
Facebook's where I'm at all day.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. This has been like super fun. I've really enjoyed that you've let me open up and talk about all of my favorite topics.
Yeah, man.
And yeah,
we definitely need to have you on again. I think we always have amazing conversations, and I think we could go for days.
I think we could as well. But it's time for me to, get back to work. Start doing other things. Thanks so much for having me. This has been like the coolest. Thanks for coming over.
Nice. Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Peace. Wow. The whole lizard people thing had me thinking for a while afterwards. You're going to be thinking about lizard people for the rest of the day. Messed my brain up a bit. But I really want to thank Owen for being on the podcast. That was one of the best ones yet. So show him some love on Facebook. He's constantly doing Facebook live streams where he does all kinds of fun stuff. So come hang out with him and hit him up if you have any questions about what he does and stuff like that. If you want to support the podcast, best way to do that is go to the podcast app if you have an iPhone, or if you're on a good old compy, load up that iTunes app, the most terrible, shitty app in the App Store. Just kidding. The iTunes Store is not that bad, but it's not fun to navigate. But unfortunately, it's the best place for you to support the podcast. Leave it a 5-star review. Give me some feedback in there. Also, by downloading all of the episodes and subscribing, that helps tremendously. Having lots of downloads is crucial for me to get into that new and noteworthy section of the iTunes Store. So even if you're not going to listen to all the episodes, I would really, really appreciate all the downloads anyways. And if you want to follow me on my social media platforms, go to andrewdeitsch.com. That's Andrew, DEITSCH.com. And you can find links to all my social media accounts there. Episode 11 is up next with my good friend who hails from South Africa, Jamie Karam. He's the general manager. That's like an Australian accent. I'm not going to try to do this. He's the general manager of a gym, world traveler, certified personal trainer, and he has the coolest accent ever that I did a terrible impression of just now. You've got to hear his crazy stories. He told about when his teachers got mugged on a field trip and when he confronted a live gorilla while he was hiking in the woods. It was crazy. We also talked about his transition to America and the public school system, how he went from being an insecure, chubby kid to a beast competing in bodybuilding competitions. What? And much, much more. If you want to hear more about it, you just have to check it out. I'm trying to post it either tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, realistically. But that's all I got. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are amazing. I love you. Keep sharing the podcast with your friends. It's really helping me out. But I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.